Folks, I'd like to have a call the town board meeting of March 28, 2013 to order. I need a. Are you ready, Dawn?
Yeah, just try this one.
I need a motion to open the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second it.
We'll salute the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have a moment of silence for the military serving in this country and out of this country, and the unfortunate ones that have not made it home. Thank you. Emergency doors to your left, our right. The first item on the agenda tonight is a public hearing with Rich.
Do we need to do roll?
Oh, do you want to do a roll?
Councilwoman Reamer.
Here.
Councilwoman Prody.
Here.
Councilwoman Doyle. Here. Supervisor Flood. All present.
First thing on the agenda is a public hearing for Ridgecrest Farm, which is a gravel mine application on Poplar Hill Road. Is it Poplar Hill Road? Sin Patch Road. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
We have a lot of people tonight, a lot of people that are going to speak tonight, so if we can keep the comments down to a couple minutes, then we're going to open it up to the public at this point. So if anyone would like to speak.
I wouldn't really like to speak, but I feel compelled to share an experience that happened.
This is on the mine?
I'm sorry?
This
No.
is- Oh, no, you gotta speak for the
Okay.
mine. This is
Public
only the mine
comments,
only.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
And Mike.
How you doing? Michael Kelsey, County Legislator. I'm going to give my report later on, but just on the mine, I'll just speak. As a policy, I don't usually, as a county official, get involved local issues, but I have. I will say that I've heard a lot of positive things from people in Amenia over this mine project. I know that I've seen the property that Mr. Holback has down in Dover. We reclaimed it and turned it into a beautiful piece of property, and I believe his plans are to do that as well in Amenia, eventually to live here. So I think that's a great philosophy that he has, and I've heard a lot of positive things from people in the community and at the county level. So I just wanted to put that in comment. Thank you.
Hi, Alan.
My name is Alan Chope. I live at 78 Sin Patch Road, immediately across from the property where this is being proposed. I really came tonight to compliment the town and to ask you for three simple things. The compliment is I've watched as a citizen for the last few months two mining applications, one which has been withdrawn and the one which is before you tonight. I've seen lots of people agitated about one of them, reasonably comfortable with the other, constructively comfortable with the other, and the contrast has been amazing. And I think that the contrast is completely due to the master plan work that the community did and to the zoning laws that were implemented. They facilitated a logical process and a logical conclusion to care about the community as a whole. I think they have resolved themselves or will resolve themselves in an intelligent, constructive way. And I think the town should feel just great about what's happened watching the contrast between these two applications. So I wanted to compliment the town and say thank you. I wanted to urge you to do three things. First is approve this application expeditiously. It's been going on for a couple of years. I know Ian well and I know his family. I know what they've gone through with this application, which has been exhausting and expensive. He spent $100,000 hiring archaeologists to look for arrowheads. It's been exhausting and expensive. I look at the thing and I say to myself, I don't think it's been an unreasonable process. The secret process, though, has been exhausting and expensive. The conditions that have been attached by the DEC to his permit application have been exhausting and expensive. So I do think it's time to bring it to an end. So I hope you'll approve this application expeditiously. I hope that you'll approve it without additional conditions. I think additional conditions are not helpful at this time to this application. And I feel that all of us, every member of our town board, every person in this room, all of this community should be behind you. I think we should be rooting for his businesses to succeed. I think we should be putting our money where our mouth is in terms of believing in our local tax base and believing in jobs and caring about new businesses in this community succeeding. So I think it is intelligent to approve this application without additional conditions to what has already been requested by the DEC. And then finally, I hope that you approve this unanimously. I think that there's symbolic issues where messages go out to the world. A divided vote on this kind of application I don't think is constructive. I want you to tell the world that you believe in businesses in Amenia. And I want you to do it by saying, we believe. We believe as a group, as a whole, all of us. So my third request is to approve this unanimously. Thanks very much for having me tonight.
Thanks, Alan. Next.
Tough act to follow. My name is Richard LeMay. I have lived in Bog Hollow Road across from the Amenia sand and gravel, or I'm sorry, the Harlem Valley Materials. We've been there for 32 years, and I've seen there's been a couple of different owners in the past, and they've all seemed to be really good, but when Ian came along, I noticed a tremendous difference. One of the things I see when I go over there, and I don't go over that often, but he has a huge sign there that says, for all the trucks going in and out of here, please be mindful of the neighbors with the Jake brakes and stuff. And believe it or not, I do see a tremendous difference. But also what I do see is the nature that was originally owned by my father-in-law 50 years ago. It was a farmland. And what he has done since he's been there, and what I've seen is the reclamation stuff is impeccable. So as a neighbor, being there through seeing the different transitions over the years, I for one, and my wife Marianne couldn't be here tonight, have no problem whatsoever with anything that Ian's done in the past, and I can only think that whatever he does in the future will be up to the same quality. So whatever I can do to, or the town can do to support him, I think it would be a very logical and good conclusion. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'd just like to say that Harlem Valley Material got our bid for the sand and the stone this year, and it's very nice going in our backyard to get this stuff without traveling a lot. It's very convenient.
Thanks, Dan. Any board members want to comment?
I think, I think I can speak for everybody here on the board, that Ian has been a good neighbor, helped with cleanup day, helped with all kinds of beautification enhancement projects. It seems like whenever we ask for anything, he's been helpful, he's been open, he's done this application in the right way. I think comparing and contrasting the past application that went to the DEC first and then said that they were grandfathered, never spoke to the town, never invited our conversation. The contrast has been extreme. Can't think of another more extreme difference between two applications. So if anybody else has anything else to add, I think we've all been appreciative of his help.
Well, I think from what I can see through this whole process, I mean, everything has been meticulously documented, completed. everything laid out very clearly for the board. And I think the planning and the time and effort that went into the whole application process was exemplary.
I just have a quick question. Bill, did we receive any letters from anyone else? I mean, any written material come in? Because I think it's...
Just this tonight,
Just,
the county.
Dutchess
Yep.
County Planning has no comment. It's a public,
Yeah.
concern.
Yes, I
And
saw that.
The Dutchess County Public Works email came in today, late this afternoon, and it was just passed around, and I've emailed it to both the applicant's attorney as well as our attorney.
Well, I would just like to add, I was on the comprehensive plan committee. It was a 5-year process. Ian came to us early. Alan came to us early. We investigated the whole aspect of it, and I'm very comfortable with the process. And as Alan says, it's a challenge to our zoning if it's not meeting the comprehensive plan requirements. So, yeah, I'm comfortable with everything that's been presented to us.
I was also on that committee.
Yes, that's right.
5 years of meetings and so on and so forth. And the gravel mines were a big issue when we started. Gravel mining's been a business in this town since the town was started. It was started around gravel mines and actually mining ore or cannonballs and so on and so forth. So I am very comfortable with what's being done. He did come early. As did we had all the mine operators and owners within the town except one came to the meetings. The DEC was at several meetings with us with the miners. We told them exactly what we wanted to do, and they had suggestions. We put it into the zoning, the comprehensive plan in the zoning, and actually. I've talked to other town supervisors and told them that we have a mining application in front of us, and it's actually going pretty smooth, and they're shocked at the way it's working. So and I agree with Alan. It's a great thing to see this after all this work and time that we put into this comprehensive plan and the zoning changes to see this process work the way it should be. And kudos to Ian and his family and the consultants that he has that have bent over backwards to make this thing work, and they've counted everything, bug, bat, bird, flower, frog, that could be counted has been counted and looked at, and Clemens was over there with a fine-tooth comb, and when he gives it its blessing, which is rare, it's done. It's been done and done right. So I thank you, and I applaud you all for doing your work. Are there any other public comments? I'll make a motion that we can adjourn the public hearing.
Well, you can close the public hearing, or adjourn it. Once you close the public hearing, you've got 62 days to make a determination.
I guess it's up to the board. If you want to close it, we'll close it.
I think we should close it or adjourn.
Well, adjourn it would be adjourning it till the
Next
next
month.
meeting. That would be keeping it open.
Yeah, I don't think we need
we'd
that.
rather close on time.
Yeah, I think at this point I said the wrong thing. I'd rather close. I'll change my. I'd rather make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
A roll call, please.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes. So be it. Good luck.
Thank you.
No, we have to have a motion to go back into the regular meeting. Okay, I need to have a motion from the board to go back into the regular meeting, close the public, or
I'll
to
make the motion that we go back into a regular meeting.
Second.
roll call, please.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Flood?
Yes. Okay, now we go to public comments. Michael.
This is the last place I'd like to be this evening. And I believe the last time I was here, I didn't wear glasses and I had more hair. But I have to share something that's occurred a couple months ago now. The snowstorm of early February produced enough snow to render the four-wheeler plows useless and unable to clear the sidewalks. As I often do, I help my neighbors clear their sidewalks and driveways. The following day, Patty mentioned that the library sidewalk had not yet been cleared. As I have done many times in the past, I chose to help the Amenia Free Library. A couple of days later, my neighbor called to say that someone had delivered a letter for me. The letter was a copy of an email that this person had sent to the Amenia Town Board. This person asked that the town board answer why I was using, asked the town board to answer why that I was using our snowblower to clear town sidewalks. Their email also contained information that many would consider inappropriate. In an effort to help the town answer a question regarding me and to distance myself from this person's email, I sent an email to the town. My email was 2 sentences. It read, I was recently made aware of an email requesting the town answer why I'd be using my snowblower to clear sidewalks. The answer is I choose to help my friends and neighbors. A couple of days later, we received an email from the person who was questioning the town. I then sent a second email to the town. I wanted to know who provided our email address, and I wanted to know why it was provided. I received an email from Vicki Doyle that stated, quote, according to our lawyer, there is no question that if the email was sent to the town board members, it becomes a record of the town, and therefore subject to disclosure under FOIL, unquote. Rather than an apology for lapse of judgment, she chose to defend her action by implying that the town lawyer said it was okay to do so. This response to a very simple question was cause for more questions. Do town board members understand the difference between an email and an email address? When asked why she spoke with the town lawyer before responding to my question, yet after providing a copy of my email with address, Ms. Doyle's response was to review Freedom of Information law. It is not reassuring to have people in office who consider the law after disclosing private contact information. Furthermore, the law regarding FOIL clearly states that deniable records include records or portions thereof that would, if disclosed, result in an unwarranted invasion of privacy. It is difficult to believe that a town board member would distribute private contact information and actually try to justify it by citing FOIL and quoting the town lawyer. An email I sent to the town on February 22nd stated, it is interesting that you have consulted with the town lawyer. Please have him or her forward a statement regarding the legality of disclosing private email addresses. This email was never answered. Other simple questions were met with doublespeak and apparent disregard for privacy concerns. When asked why she provided this person with a paper copy of my email, Vicki's answer was because she asked for it. We would like to know what steps, if any, the town board has taken to ensure that the basic rights of citizens are understood and respected. We'd also like to thank Victoria Perotti for being willing to settle this matter outside of a courtroom.
First of all, Mike, it's unfortunate that the people in this town send emails to that effect to people within the town that do a lot of work. And unfortunately, there's people in the town that send emails that are very damaging, hurtful to people, and to either board members or myself, and they're out there. It's ridiculous what we have to listen to and what people do here. It's to the point where it is there are pending lawsuits on some of them. That it's just not right what they do. And also, we have looked into the laws, and Ian has worked on it, and unfortunately, there's a letter that's gonna be sent to you. It's not, I don't, it's ready, correct? I
Yeah,
believe it's ready, it's done.
Correct.
So we did go back and look at the laws. We do have to hire someone to do a security policy within the town because it's not been done, and it's never been done and done right. Because people come in here, get foils, get papers, get this, get information like that, and don't do anything here. It's a joke. The way things are run here and within some of the offices here. I've seen it day in and day out. You talk to them, and it's just ridiculous. You know, papers fly in and out of here all the time. The security policies that have to be done by the state of New York we have to hire someone to make those corrections and make sure it's done and done right. We have interviewed a person from Dover. We've interviewed another person also that will have to be done. Obviously, we have to work on it. All town emails if you're on a committee at this point and within the town, they've been issued new emails because you can't use your personal emails with the town emails because they are foilable. That's what we've done.
The content of the email is. The address, personal address is not.
Well,
I don't know that that's true.
Read the law.
I'm sorry?
You should read the law.
I have read the law.
I'll bring you a copy tomorrow.
Yeah, you don't need to.
It clearly states it.
It does not. I understand what you're saying about personal privacy, but this is a document that you submitted to the. But it's a document that you submitted to the town, just like anybody that sends a letter to the
And that document is free
town.
for everybody to look at. My personal contact information is not.
I mean, I disagree with you. If that's the only identifying feature in the email, I don't think there's any question you may have to disclose it. When you submit correspondence to the town board or any town officials, that becomes a public record.
The correspondence, I agree.
Correct.
I agree. My personal contact information is not.
Well, that's a policy that's going to have to be looked at by the security people.
I sent a copy of it to Dawn. Please read it.
Right.
Right to know information.
Okay. All right. We have looked at it. We are working on it, and I've talked to you about it a little bit. So, obviously, we have to do some work within the town hall. There's no question, because the emails are back and forth, and you're right. I don't think personal emails should be used, and they're used to hurt people within the town, and that's exactly what this person tried to do, and with other multiple emails that this woman has sent. So it's to the point where it's getting, it's laughable, and it's I believe it's.
How about being answered with doublespeak and avoiding answering questions directly?
If you come to the
Gonna deal with
podium,
that.
it'd be
Right.
helpful to.
How about providing direct answers to simple questions instead of being met with doublespeak? One of the questions I asked was, did you ever provide anyone with town documents without that person submitting a FOIL request? Your answer was, yes, I am providing FOIL requests to Cheryl Morse. That was your answer. That wasn't the question, but that was your answer. It was a very simple question, but I didn't get an answer. I got a response. I got an evasive response. And there's several others, too. They're all on my computer. I can bring them next time if that's what you'd like.
It's up to you.
No, it's up to you right now.
I have given answers as best I can.
Well, that's as pathetic as the rest of them.
Well, I think as Bill says, it's a problem, and we really need to have a policy in place so that everyone is clear when someone asks for information, it is just not handed out free will, because I've been recipient of many emails as well that are hurtful and derogatory.
And I have no questions about the content of my email, the subject of my email, no problem with it. I understand it's town property. My contact information is not. Should I suddenly receive emails from 100 people trying to discuss something I'm not interested in discussing them? That's wrong.
Well, I think
And I think it's clearly stated under the right to know laws.
but you've brought it to the forefront, and we need to deal with it, and
We are
It's-
doing.
And I appreciate that.
yes.
Thank you.
And thank you for plowing the sidewalks, by the way. So this is, so. Any other public comment? Huh? Mike? Sure.
Didn't know whether it was public comment or not. Michael Kelsey, County Legislator. Wanted to just give an update on what we're doing in the county level, just so that you're aware. This month in March, we had a meeting where we had 2 bonds that we looked at, 2 memorializations, and then I want to talk a little bit about the SWAMP, the Solid Waste Management Plan. The 2 bonds I talked about last month that we were looking at, and then we voted on this month. They're both about $1 million, one a little bit less, one a little bit over. The first bond was to create an electronic content management system, ECM, and that allows us to update our record keeping, computerization, digitalization. On the one hand, it will bring old records that are currently in a record room, will allow them to be computerized, and so members of the general public, town municipalities will be able to access them. These are historical records going way back when, to land records, to whatever. It'll also allow us to streamline interdepartments working together. Somebody applies or something, goes from one department to another, it'll all be online and allow us to streamline rather than sending interoffice mail or whatever. That passed unanimously. The second bond also passed. That was a bond to upgrade the facilities at the Renegades Stadium, Duchess Stadium. The main part of that is to replace the grass with AstroTurf and to fix drainage. It's been a problem in recent years when there's a lot of rain, with games that had been canceled or other events. The other part of that was to upgrade the electrical system. That bond I did pass. There were 3 nay votes. I was one of the nay votes. Personally, I felt that in the amount of layoffs we've been doing and cutting of the budgets, that we probably shouldn't be spending $1 million on cosmetics at the stadium. We currently, right now, the county, everybody makes money, but the county, the school district owns the property. The Renegades have the concession stands, and the county makes money on parking. At this point, we've been making about $20,000 a year profit on the stadium. But with this bond, it'll go over 15 years. The first year, it's going to cost us $95,000. So it'll be a shortage this year and next year and going forward. Now, the impetus for this is that the Renegades may be leaving. Rockland County has built a whole new stadium with no team to fill it. And the Renegades are the Hudson Valley Renegades, not Dutchess County. Their contract expires in 2016. So there's a real fear that the Renegades, at the end of their contract, may leave a stadium that's been decaying, not a nice AstroTurf field, and may go to another stadium closer to New York City, closer to some fans, and that is really what's driving this bond. And did pass. There will be a new field. Time will tell whether or not the Renegades will stick around, though. If they don't, then we're stuck with a real loser, no money coming in. It's a risk I wasn't willing to take. So those were our 2 bonds this month. We also had 2 memorializations. Memorialization is something where it's no legal actions taken. It's really asking the state legislature to do something. One memorialization, and the reason I bring them forward, one memorialization is something I've spoken about before, and that is asking the state legislature to allow individual towns to decide whether or not to collect taxes in installments. This was a topic that I've been looking at for the last year. Basically, the town of Stanford wanted to do that and was told they could not because they are, by law, a second-class town. That's no reflection on the town. It just means it's a legal definition that, based on population, first-class towns, high population, can do some things that second-class towns cannot. Amenia is a second-class town. Under the law, if you're a first-class town, you can allow taxes to come in installments rather than being completely due on the end of February. So if you live in a first-class town such as Hyde Park, Poughkeepsie, or Wappingers, Right now, as a citizen, you can go into that town and say, I'm going to pay half my taxes February, half in March, or some other type of situation, and that if you have limited cash flow, that helps you. Second-class towns currently do not have that ability, and as I mentioned, Stanford asked for that permission. We don't have the ability to do it in the county, so we're asking the state to revisit that. I spoke at the Supervisors and Mayors Association in October. Supervisor Flood was in attendance, and some towns were for it, some were against it, and we're asking the state just give each town the ability to do that. Second memorialization that we considered was to asking the state legislature to revisit and to repeal the SAFE Act. That's the law that was passed in early January dealing with the weapons ban and a lot of number of provisions. It was done in a short period of time, and our resolution we carefully crafted to oppose the process by which it was adopted and certain provisions. We believe that there are some good parts to it, but we were asking the state to revisit it, repeal it, start over. That attracted a lot of public comment. We had over 2 hours in our committee day, over 3 hours on our board meeting, and this is with public limited to speaking 2 minutes each. So you can have an idea. We had an overflow room in the county clerk's room. A lot of people came up to speak on both sides, but the majority were asking it to be repealed. So that also passed. There were 3 nay votes on that as well. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about the solid waste management plan. I mentioned last month that it would be coming forward, and I said I hadn't read it then, and I would be giving you an update. I have read it since, and we will be voting on it in April. And so I do want to explain what's in there because I'm welcoming feedback. I haven't decided myself how I'm voting on that yet. The solid waste management plan deals with what we do with the trash in the county. It expires every 10 years, and we have to renew it. This expired in 2010, and there was a plan put out by the Resource Recovery Agency in 2010 that we rejected. That plan called for flow control, requiring everyone to bring their trash to the Resource Recovery Agency waste energy plant. It required building transfer stations. It really went overboard and a very expensive proposal. We rejected that. The following year, we hired a consultant who came up with a plan that said sell off the waste energy plant in Poughkeepsie and have a county policy of carting all your trash out of the county. This third plan, our response in between was we created a solid waste commission department in the county, and in that we asked county staff to come up with a plan. This is their plan. Their plan is a middle-of-the-road approach. They continue to keep the waste energy plant in Poughkeepsie open. They want to add another turbine, which will allow it to produce more electricity. That would presumably be a bond that the county would have to back up. They also increase recycling. And the third major component of it is somewhere in the county to build a ash landfill. And a landfill, as you know, is you bury, but this would be only for ash. And what that means is when
That's proposed now?
This is in the swamp. So somewhere in the county, if this goes forward, they'd be seeking to build a landfill somewhere, who knows where, that would take the ash from the waste energy plant in Poughkeepsie, burn the trash, and right now we take that ash, put it on a truck, and send it all the way out to Buffalo. And Buffalo, it gets buried. That's a lot of carbon. That's a lot of gasoline costs, and it costs about $2.5 million a year. The thought is to bury the ash locally, cut down on those costs, but with the plan of one day using that ash for road materials or something else that it can be used for if the DEC would give a permit, and currently they're not willing to do so. So that's, to me, that's a major part of the swamp. Turbine expense is an expense, and there's a little language in there talking about a reuse center somewhere in the county. And I'm not sure what a reuse center is. We haven't had the opportunity to ask. The department will be doing that in April, but apparently Ulster County has a reuse center. I don't know what this is, but they're looking into the feasibility of a Dutchess County reuse center. So I don't know what that means, but it's in there. So these are the major elements, and it increases recycling. High goal, I think about 60%. Now with recycling, we currently had a MRF, an MRF. I think it's a manufacturing recovery facility. That was operating in Poughkeepsie. That closed in December, and we are currently this month voting to sell that property to Marist College. It's right by Marist College. They want to buy it. We put it out. The bid, Marist was the only one that bid on it. Now, the reason it shut down, county used to do the recycling, is a private enterprise opened up in Beacon. And they've been doing single stream recycling, increased plastics 1 through 7, and they've been doing really well. And so now the county's out of the recycling business, private enterprise is doing it. I almost wonder if maybe we should be shutting the Resource Recovery Agency's waste energy plant and allowing the private industry to do it. But again, I have a lot of questions, but that's really what's in the plan, and I'm really trying to get it out there so people know, so that people can give me feedback, let me know what they think, because this will be the plan that'll go for the next 10 years. So.
We did receive some information, but it was so brief. Is there more where we can read in depth?
There's a thick packet, and it's on the website. It's probably 30 pages. And
Okay.
there's a lot of documents. There were some areas, like it mentioned flow control
Right.
several times, but in my opinion, it danced around it. It said, well, we may need to reconsider flow control. Now, flow control requires all of trash to go to one plant. And we used to have flow control laws in New York, in Dutchess County, and the Supreme Court, way back when, I forget, 97 maybe, U.S. Supreme Court said, hey, you can't do flow control. Then they reversed their decision, I think in 03, and said, yes, you can, if you're a municipality. And flow control's on our books, but we haven't enforced it. And the reason we can't enforce it is because if you have flow control, all of the county's garbage has to go to one place. And the facility is not big enough to take the whole county's garbage. It was never meant for it. It was meant for 5 towns. So it says flow control in there, but it never really says policy one way or the other. Are we going to do it? And that's my concern. It's very vague, and some areas are vague in there. But it's about 30 pages.
So when do you vote on it?
April.
Wow, that's not much time.
We have a committee day coming up. I'm saying that we should have like we do local laws or bonds, we should have a discussion only and then put it off to the next month.
Mm-hmm.
But my understanding is DEC helped craft this swamp. They're okay with it, and that's what we're being told. Oh, well, they're okay, so we should go forward. I'm not. We're already three years late. I would rather take the time to do it right. And as I said, we have an opportunity to ask our questions. I have a lot of questions.
Yeah. Are they suggesting any sites? Have they gone that far?
No, none have been
Keep it
suggested.
on the other side of the parkway, you'll be fine. They
I
tried to put it out here before.
agree, but we all know, there's space, and so that is a concern. And when I spoke at Town of Washington, there was a lot of concern. Where are they going to put this landfill?
They tried to do it out here once before, but times have
Yeah.
changed now, so they're gonna have and they fought that one too, and that's not gonna happen here.
Yeah.
I would hope. But also, wouldn't it make sense to privatize the thing?
I personally believe that, and the issue
Why
is
I don't understand why the county would wanna be in the refuse business at this point.
I don't either. And I think the thought is, and for years, Resource Recovery Agency has we're on the hook when they can't pay their bills.
Right.
And at times it's been as much as $6.5 million. It's about $3 million now. But that's going to change in 2014 and maybe even sooner, because the first bond is up. And then all of a sudden the cost goes a lot lower. And not only is the first bond up, but also the service agreement with the Resource Recovery Agency, with their company that does it, is up. So that can be renegotiated. And I think some of the thoughts is, oh, well, now the county will completely be out of it, and the public authority, the RRA, could run with it. But I kind of think, why have a public authority? Let's just send it out to the private. But if it's privately owned, they can charge whatever they want, and who knows, your garbage bill might go up. I don't know. But that's a conversation. I personally believe let's go out completely and just
Why can't you bid out the garbage also with it?
right,
Like we did with the transfer station.
right. And that's something where I have questions that haven't been answered. But my fear is, when I'm hearing other legislators, is a lot of them just say, oh, let's just approve it. And I don't think that's the right way to do it. I think we should be heavily involved. And I think their theory as well, we want our philosophy was, let's create a solid waste department. We did. This is what they produced, and therefore we should just sign off. And that's not my belief. I believe that we shouldn't just hand it off. We should be, is this the right thing to do? And specifically with the RRA and the waste energy plant, why have the government involved? It's just like the stadium, just like the airport. I think we need to cut back on government's, role in some of these areas that is not a core function of government.
Is there anything we can do to help put it off, to give more time to consider it and do it right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a public hearing, and there was a number of people who came and were critical of it, largely due to that they didn't think it recycled enough or it wasn't zero waste. And to me, that is a minor issue. I think the big issue is what do we do with the RRA, what do we do with the waste energy plant, ash landfill, and this reuse center. To me, those there's too many questions out there. So I mean, it is something, if people are saying, hey, we're doing this too quick, or what does this mean, that's really, the public's got to speak up, or towns speak up. But I really don't know. It's on the agenda to be voted on. So whatever that means. So.
The county mortgage tax, did that ever be increased? Is that going to be passed?
We both the mortgage tax and the sales tax have to come to us for a home rule request. Then it goes to Albany. Albany votes, and then it comes back, and then we vote on it again. The issue has been with having state legislators sponsor it. This month in April, we have a resolution up for the sales tax. And Assemblyman Scartatos, who represents Beacon and the city of Poughkeepsie, is the only assemblyman willing to back it. So neither Dee Dee Barrett nor Karen Lawler, they both said, no, I'm not going to put my name on that. I don't want to be going for raising taxes. It's not a raise, but it's an extension. So we do have sponsors for the sales tax. So far, from what I've heard, we do not have anybody in our state delegation willing to bring the mortgage tax up. That could change, but it hasn't come to us. And I know when we did the budget, the thought was that this could be implemented by April 1st, then towns would share. Well, it's not on our April agenda at this point. So I don't know what's happening. I know that there has been, I know the county executive is talking with our state delegation, but that they're, for their own personal reasons or in their constituencies, there's some discomfort with sponsoring legislation dealing with either tax in Albany. So,
Okay.
I don't know where that is.
Any other questions?
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stick around for a little bit and then I'm going to drift.
Cheryl Morse, town of Amenia. I'm a little concerned about Mr. Collins' comment earlier, and I'm wondering where my name came up in reference to what he was discussing, since I really have nothing to do with the issue directly that he came here to speak about. So I'm a little concerned, and I'd like an explanation as to why my name was brought up, particularly since my FOIL request for emails was denied. So it's really kind of a moot point with respect to that and why my name was mentioned. Secondly, a number of citizens, including myself, have directly written letters to the board and regarding different issues where we've had questions, and we've never directly been answered or responded to, which is discourteous and I think rude on one level. And I think when people have questions about things going on in our community and we address the board with our concerns, whatever, that we should at least get the courtesy of some sort of reply when we do ask questions. So that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you.
I'll just mention that Michael Collins had asked if I had provided any information about other emails that had been received by me, and I responded that I was currently looking through my emails, seeing if I could help in any response to your FOIL request.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Stanley?
First, I'll start out with, we have $9,400 in our budget for equipment trailer. So I went out and got like 6 price quotes for this trailer, and I got 3 back that really matches what I was looking for. We got Hoffman Equipment, Marlboro, New York, $11,494. Cairo trailer, $9,897. Hudson River truck and trailer, $9,562. We only had $9,400. So I recommend that we go with Hudson River, and we use the $9,400, and I take $162 out of my machinery line. We need this trailer to haul the roller and the backhoe around.
I thought we approved this thing before, didn't we?
Well, I gotta get board
He had to
permission to
get
purchase.
bids.
All right. I have a problem.
I'd make a motion that we authorize the purchase of the Hudson River truck and tractor supply trailer,
Truck and trailer.
truck and trailer bid for $9,562.
A second?
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Brody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes.
Our dirt roads got pretty muddy. They're drying out now. Hopefully next week we can start grading them, grade them and roll them in. We've been out sweeping the intersections to make them a little bit safer because there is a lot of sand on the road this year. Had a couple guys the last couple days picking up garbage along the road. They've done a real good job and it looks a lot better. On Tower Hill, we're just waiting for the DEC permit. I think everything's looking good there, so hopefully in May we can get started on that. We can't get started before because it's a trout stream. And then Will Lane, I don't know where we're at with that. I mean, it's like it was last October, I guess.
There's some legal issues that I know they're working on.
The attorney for Gleason wanted a copy of the bid documents that he had submitted. I provided those to her. You know, he's not signing the contract. You approve payment, condition on him signing the contract and providing a maintenance bond. Maintenance bond, he says he can provide, but for only 5% of the contract price. You had asked for 20%. But he still hasn't signed, he's refusing to sign the contract. I'll follow up with his attorney. You know, the county will reimburse the town, will actually release the funds to the town for the undisputed work, but they want a signed contract. And so that's where you're sort of at a Mexican standoff here. He is, if he would just sign the contract, you could at least pay him for the undisputed work and get reimbursed from the county and then iron out the issues with the disputed work. But, you know, I'll follow up with, I just sent his attorney the bid documents, I think it was last week, and I'll follow up with her. But she had sent a letter to the county, which I sent you a copy of, or rather sent a letter to me and CC'd all these county officials, threatening to file a lien against the town, which there's no authority to do. It's really she's making a threat.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a threat. But the bottom line is he's got to sign the contract.
Right.
He's also going to move the pipe.
Yeah, that's another issue.
I mean, he put it outside the easement. I mean,
Correct.
that was deliberate on his part.
Well, you have a factual dispute between him and your engineer about what the cause was.
So do we have, I don't know, I'm sorry to break in, but do we have a recourse against Wheeler at this point?
Against?
Wheeler. He was our engineer that was representing the town. If he's allowed this to happen, you know, he's got insurance and stuff that we should go after him
Correct.
at this point. So maybe that's what, I don't want to get involved in this legal
Well,
jumbo either. But
Yeah, I mean, that's
Well,
something to
we
think
are
about.
we
involved.
are involved in it, but we
Big
have to get
time.
it fixed.
And we also have a pending lawsuit by the property owner.
Not a lawsuit, but he filed a notice of claim, which is a precursor to a lawsuit against the
Well,
town.
it sounds like he's obviously wants something
That's
done.
yeah,
I mean, he doesn't
contemplated.
want the pipe on his property where it is.
Correct. you know, a couple of things. Pete Sotero had prepared a memo, and I had spoken to Ann Saylor with Dutchess County, and I had mentioned to her, she had actually asked whether the town had anybody else look into this, and I explained to her that you had Pete Sotero do that. She would like to see that memo, and I told her I couldn't disclose it without, you know, that's town boards.
Well, we can give you that authorization tonight.
Okay.
I mean, we need to move this thing along.
And then I'll, as long as the board, excuse me, is in agreement, I will send that to her. She was going to have the county engineers look into this and try to determine whose responsibility it was to designate the area, the easement area that the pipe was supposed to go in. So, I mean, the contract documents make it pretty clear that it's the contractor's responsibility.
To do what the engineer told them to do, where the easement, and put the pipe where the easement was, and
But the
nowhere
problem is
else.
the
Well,
easement was never
yeah,
flagged,
there's-
right?
It was never flagged, not before he put the pipe in. It was flagged
Well,
afterwards.
he should have questioned it. What kind of a contractor doesn't question the
I
engineer? It's
agree
like,
with you
where should this
100%.
go?
And that's something that the county is looking into. The county, understandably, does not want to pay for a contractor's mistake. So they generally will not, they don't want to reimburse the town for the disputed work. But on the other hand, they also understand that you have these disputes and the cost of litigating them may be greater than the cost of just trying
Fixing it.
to settle it. And in this case, you're not talking about an incredibly huge amount of money. The cost for the disputed work, I believe, is around $7,000. The big variable is what it's going to cost to dig the pipe up and then put it where it's supposed to be. Part of the problem in not knowing the cost there is the area where the pipe was supposed to go had some large trees in the middle of it, and also there's rock. And so your engineer estimated the cost to be, you know, somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000, but it depends on how much rock they encounter when they do that. What I'll do is I'll provide the county and Saylor with the county with Pete Sotero's memo.
Do we need to do a motion to authorize
If you make a
to do
motion
it?
to authorize me to do it, yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to authorize our attorney, Ian Donald, to supply the county with Pete Sotero Morris Associates assessment of the problem at Willow Lane.
I would second that. I just have a question before we actually vote on this. Is Dutchess County, their engineers are still going to look at it anyway? Are they being brought in or not?
When I spoke to Ann Saylor, she said they were. She wanted to get their opinion on
So if
whose fault.
if she had Pete Sotero's memo and the Dutchess County engineers take
I mean,
a look
it's
at
up
it,
to her.
it should be resolved sooner rather than later.
Correct.
It would
That's going
assist
to
it.
move things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to help move things along.
Good.
Yeah.
And it, you know, at some point, you know, we may want to think about having a conference call with a representative from the board and Dutchess County and myself and Gleason's attorney.
Mhm.
And because if you're at just a stalemate, it's a he said, she said. You know, your engineer is saying, I gave him the plans, he should have, if it wasn't clear to him on the plans, he should have asked. Gleason is saying, well, no, your engineer told me to put it here. And,
We'll set that up, right?
Yeah.
You're available for a call, right? We can sit down with him.
What's that?
You're available to have a conference call with him?
Yeah. I went down there with the plans myself, and I scaled it out, and Gleason's definitely wrong.
Yeah.
And then I got hold of Pete Sotero, and I didn't tell Pete Sotero that I was even there. So Pete and I went down there, and Pete hit the same spots I did.
Yeah.
So
And
Gleason's,
there's less pipe than we're building.
Yeah, less pipe.
So,
And you
That's why-
pointed out to Gleason that he was, I can't remember, you told me that you figured out that where they were putting it was in the wrong place. But did you talk to them?
no, I didn't talk to Gleason. It's done.
It was done at that
Right.
point.
I thought you had, Stan. I thought you, because I saw an email where I thought you would go onto the site and point it out to him that he was.
Right, but the pipe was in, the catch basin was in.
That was after the fact.
The catch basin was already installed, and Gleason's sitting in the middle of Slater's property. And I said, well, what are you doing here? He said, well, this is where it goes. He says, we moved it a little bit so we didn't have to bother the trees. This is the best spot for it. He says, now we got rock. But that's before I measured it. Then I measured it, and it was supposed, the basin was supposed to go in at 280. They had it at 300. So they were 20 feet off, which took it completely out of the easement.
I think having the county engineers look at this is only going to help you. Because like I said, I've read the bid documents and the contract documents, and the burden is on the contractor to make sure that he's digging in the right place. So I'll get that to Ann Saylor, and then I'll talk to her about trying to resolve this, and if a conference call would be helpful.
We should vote on the motion, though, to make it official.
sure.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes. I have one other question. Laval Road, we got the DEC permit for that to fix where they drilled the well. Since it's a town road, do you want to do the work?
Let me take a look at the plans.
All right.
I don't know how.
There's some, I talked to Pete about it. You want to talk to Pete? There's some plants and stuff that have to be brought in. There have to be some landscaping plants. We have to get a landscaper to plant some of the plants.
But we have to have a public hearing first.
Yeah, there's some stuff that we have to do. I don't know if we have to have a public hearing.
Yes, we do.
On the DEC
We have a set of
permit.
plans on it?
Yeah, he's got some plans that were filed with the DEC.
We got the renewal permit. There needs to be a new street valve, repair the fire hydrant, borders around the wetland, tree removal, vegetation addition. The permit's been approved, but we need to have a public hearing before we can start the
The
work.
permit is actually wrong. That's the issue. They sent it with the wrong address,
This is
Laval Road.
okay.
Yeah, they drilled a well in the wetlands, and the previous boards without permits, they got
Okay.
sued by the DEC. Now they have to, it's been years that the DEC's been trying to make, the 1 year it expired. I think we're 3rd years into it, right? So now they have to do the corrections to make this well accessible. There's some plants that have to be planted, some landscaping that has to be done, because they're taking out some wetlands.
But I
some
think we
plants.
have to have the public hearing before we can start the work.
Well, that's why I'm not saying so.
I'm not sure. DEC approved the
Yeah.
permit?
Yes.
They've
Yeah.
given you the permit?
Yeah, but they had to go back because it came in the wrong address. There's something wrong with the address, and I think Pete got that worked out with them.
I don't know that you need to have a public hearing, but I'll look into it. I just don't. I mean, you need to, there's work that still needs to be done, or all the
Yes.
work?
Yeah, the work's
Yes.
gotta be done. It's never been done.
You've got to,
It's a mess.
depending on how much it's going to cost.
Well, what's happened since the work wasn't done, I mean, this is, a lot of the vegetation kind of grew up on its own around it. And what happened with the original permit, there's a turnaround there for the fire department to use and the highway department to use, and that wasn't figured in the original permit. So the whole thing had to be done over. But if you could check with DEC to see if we
Okay.
need to have a public hearing, which I believe we do, but if we don't, then, then we can just get moving on this.
I'll just call Pete about a public hearing. That's,
It looks like it did originally, really.
right. They just drilled the well with no permits.
I don't know what happened.
Right.
Well, it's
You know, to save,
something for years.
what? to save a few bucks, it's cost us probably 30,000 just in fees, legal fees and so on and so forth.
It all looks the same to me now.
Yeah. But I think a tree has to come down, because where they drilled the well, if they have to pull the well head, the well pump, they can't get to it. It's behind the tree. So that's stuff that has to be done. But give Pete a call.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the plans.
All right, thanks.
The next thing, Bill, you asked me for a no parking sign for Mechanic Street last week.
Yeah,
We have a resolution on the table, and before I don't have any signs, like I told you. Before I can do anything down there, you know, I need a resolution.
I gave the plans to Pete Sotero. Did he have any reply? Remember we all met that day? And he was
Right.
going to review them?
He did. He made a
Yeah,
reply.
he sent us a letter.
Oh, when did that come?
We've had this letter quite a while. September 12th.
that went out to the board. That went out.
Yeah, everybody got it.
Hmm.
You were there that day, he was there. And we've had a DOT from Albany, we've had DOT from Poughkeepsie, and we had Pete Sotero, and every one of them said no parking either side there.
Now, Ian, you already did the resolution. so
Yeah, I have a copy of the resolution that was tabled.
This is for Mechanic Street,
Yes,
for
because
the,
we have to do a local law.
correct.
Right.
Yeah, I had prepared that.
Yeah, right here.
So we can do that next meeting, right?
Yeah, I'd like to review. I don't remember getting a reply from him, but I could have missed it.
I'll get you
It's
one.
dated September
Sure.
21st?
12.
September 12th.
So it's ready to go.
Yeah,
Just
also I
needs to
asked
be-
you to put up,
I'll resend it, yeah.
we have to get a permit from the DOT for 2 signs, correct?
Right, I think Mary's working on that.
Right, one for the historical sign, and then I've been asked by the local businesses in downtown Amenia if we could put up a business district sign up by the intersection here, by the red light somewhere, with an arrow or something pointing there's a business district.
Do you have a design for that sign yet, or?
No, but I'm sure we can get one.
All right, let me know what you need.
All right, I think it's just a business district with an arrow or sort of,
I think you should also have something that says rail trail this way, because other towns
Right.
off the main drag say rail trail that way. I don't know if it can be incorporated in the same sign, or if it needs to be a separate one that the county, I guess our county legislator left, but I think there is like a generic sign, right, as you go north through those towns, you see
Right,
rail
rail
trail
trail.
this way. I'll talk to the county. Do you remember seeing that, or is that a state DOT
I don't know.
sign?
If it's the rail trail, it's probably the county.
County?
I don't know.
because I spoke to the county Park and Recreation, I forget the guy's name, the head of it, and they're gonna allow us to put a sign at the rail trail head for business district this way.
Oh, good.
But Maureen Rooney is working on that design. She wants to dedicate
Hey, get
it
the signs, we'll
to
put 'em up.
Ian Sanford.
I told Arlene earlier.
Right, so right, Mary's working on the permits for that, the letter for that, so that's gonna
Okay.
happen.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay.
Oh, can I ask you one favor? I started to take away the trees, the dead trees in the barrels, the Christmas trees, but I still need a couple across the street from Fountain Square, so I did Four Brothers in Fountain Square, but you need a wire cutter or something like that. But it's only
Chainsaw.
about 3 more trees there and some energy.
Yeah,
and
we'll
then
get them all tomorrow.
Wasaic also.
Right, I noticed Wasaic still have it.
It's, yeah, they need to go. Thank you very much.
Committee reports. Do you want to, Arlene? I'll let you go first. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Town clerk, go ahead. Well, go ahead. Do you want to do it first?
No, I don't have to say it.
Oh.
All right. Good evening. Just would like to give an update on the tax collection. Thus far, we have collected 87%, which equals $3,654,979.07. Town was satisfied last month. We're still collecting for the county. The remaining balance that is due to the county at this time is $365,396.94. So we are still taking tax payments here at the town.
Until when? The end of,
Until the end of May. Penalties right now are at the 1%, then it goes 2%, then 3%, and then once it's to the county, I won't be able to take your payment. So please come on in, make those payments. I'd like to announce that April 1st is right around the corner, and it is opening day of fishing. So if you're over the age of 16, come on in, and I'll gladly get you your fishing license. I had the Girl Scouts come and ask me if they can use the lower parking lot. They'd like to do a little mini fundraiser. It's like a tag sale in the trunk of your car where I guess all the cars park, and they have like a little mini tag sale. It's not the building, but I don't know if the building use form is still required in the fee. So, and they're trying to do it as a fundraiser. And they didn't give me the date in May or June. They do when the weather breaks. I told her that Friday nights is the farmers market, and you know, there's nothing that I have on Saturdays for the lower parking lot, but I just wasn't sure if this is a permitted use.
I think you can hold one-time tag sales, so that I don't believe requires any permit. And I would be up for using the town parking lot for such
It'd be the lower.
Do they don't have a date yet?
She didn't pick the date because she wanted to see what you were going to say. She was looking second or third Saturday in June, but she didn't want to commit until she knew for sure if this venue would be available.
As long as we could accommodate whatever other activities were happening.
And they
here.
didn't need the facility. They don't need to come in or anything. It was just straight down there. So I can let Ms. Lopine know.
I think that would be allowable.
Okay.
Sure.
Thanks. As you may have, if you read the Millerton News today, you know that there's some announcements in there. We have the open volunteer position still for ZBA, Workforce Housing and Rec Commission. For the Rec Commission, we have 2 applicants that have submitted already. For the town also has an advertisement for the open councilman seat. To date, I have received 3 letters of interest. Those letters of interest are due to the clerk's office by April 15th. We also have bids, specs that are available to be picked up at the town clerk's office for painting the exterior trim, lawn mowing, pruning trees. And the open legal counsel, we received 14 applications, 4 of which qualify.
for the what?
The legal counsel that put in, their due date was April 1st.
We have how many applications?
14, but a majority of them were just paralegals or legal assistants.
Okay.
And I'd just like to give a quick report on the class that Patty and I attended on March 18th. Patty and I were invited by the Town Clerks State Association, and we went to Albany, and we attended a class by the New York State Comptroller's Office. It was entitled Finance Accountability for Town Clerks. Many of the functions of the Town Clerk's Office include maintaining the cash book and deposits, issuing receipts, tax duties. One of the things that we learned, and I've already spoken with the supervisor, but I'd like to address the whole board, is that we need to do either a local law, an ordinance, or a resolution that designates the officer to accept credit card payments for the specific purpose of real property tax, water sewer payments, or permits and licenses. So that's something that I'd like to work on, so we could do that, because we are up and running taking credit cards. The fees...
At no cost to the town.
At no cost to the town. So we just want to do that. And it's under General Municipal Law, subsection 5B. One of the other, well, there's several things that we came across. The fees that are being paid to the registrar of the clerk is supposed to be non-taxed. So I'm trying to get that corrected. I have a woman from the State Comptroller's Office that'll send the necessary paperwork. But I guess when Patty does the death certificates, or I do the death certificates at the end of the month, they're not supposed to be taxed. So that's something we need to work on correcting. The clerk is to report to the supervisor by the 15th of the month a detailed list of all the fees and charges on the report, and I am to pay the appropriate state agencies for marriages, hunting, and fishing licenses, as well as dog licenses. All disbursements are to be made by check, except for the authorized petty cash payments. Our office doesn't participate in petty cash payments, nor are we asking to participate in that program. Monthly bank reconciliations. There's some statutory responsibilities that fall on the shoulders of the town clerk. which I know in the past we have not done, is consecutively numbering the vouchers, marking and dating as presented, preparing abstracts, or having the available to the public. Our bookkeeper does a good job with preparing all that, but in the statute, it calls that they're to be entered into the minutes. I spoke with Bill. That was one of the first points that I came back with. Today I was given by Sherry the January and February abstracts, but according to these reports, it shows that we're missing some language. So I'd like to talk to you guys later tonight. Maybe we can get those corrected. And I'd like to let everyone know that in the clerk's office, we have internal controls that are very important. We're to ensure the compliance with the laws and regulations and policies and procedures. We're to preserve integrity, eliminate adverse publicity, increase public confidence, establish standards of performance, and ensure that the objectives are met, reduce fraud and opportunities, prevent loss of fraud of other resources. And we're doing those such things by having the safeguards that we implement, which we have separate cash drawers that are locked, frequent deposits, and duplicate receipts. I present this to the board and the public on 2 levels to let you know that as your newly elected town clerk, I am going out there and I'm obtaining the training that is necessary. But it's also been brought to my attention because this week I was received a resolution that was going to be presented tonight before the board, which has since then been rescinded and not being presented. But I'd like to remind everyone that I'm doing the best I can as your elected official, and that I've been here and elected by you with separate and distinct duties from the supervisor and the town board. I've been issuing the month and the town check in a timely and a responsible manner, and that I am asking that this be, my position be treated with respect of my position and the responsibilities that I'm doing. Back in the fall of 2012, I spoke to the town board, and I made it very clear the importance of training. I understand and I respect that some of the concerns that I've been approached with since my election, and I'm working to approach and to make those corrections and changes to improve the office. Unlike other clerks, I'm here every day. I am available, I have an open door, and I schedule appointments after hours and I work at weekends, whether you're looking for a marriage license or a notary. I ask that the courtesy and respect be given to me, no more wasteful, hurtful emails be sent, and if necessary, that we schedule an executive session so I may move forward with my office and for a production of business in a timely manner. Any changes that are looking to be implemented by this town board, I would ask that you speak to me as a department head, and that any policies should be in writing and discussed with all of the employees. So,
Employees or the town clerk's office?
well, I have
Who are you
Patty.
representing, yourself?
I'm representing myself and then with Patty. And I know
Correct.
there's some changes that we all agree need to be done, and I'm trying to do them, but I want to learn my position before I just make those changes across the board, and I just ask for that time. I've only been here 3 months, and I'm asking to be given the courtesy and the respect of that. And if we need to have executive sessions,
We don't need executive sessions. I think just the work has to be done, and it has to be done in a proper way.
I have spoken with state agencies as well as my county representatives. The one thing that I found that the town clerk's office was not in possession of was the handbook. And within this handbook on page 88, it makes it very clear that the payments set aside from the cash book should show all payments be made. No payment should be made with the except from a check from the official bank account established in the name of the town clerk in the bank designated by the town. I understand that when this book was written in '96, we really weren't doing electronic transfers and funds and banking, and I know the town didn't learn those types of things until Scott Byer was here, and then it's been currently, going through. I have 13 emails from county clerks that do not handle the court of business in the manner of having the town clerk going in and transferring out the funds to make the payments. I have the town.
But what's the big deal with transferring the payments? It's not.
It's not that it's a big deal. It is
It's
a
a big
practice
deal
that is
for you doing
permitted.
them.
I haven't done it.
No, but you want to. That's what that resolution was
No,
about.
it's not.
Yes, it was.
No, it's not.
It
We have
is
the
too.
right
I
to
can
go
read
in
it.
and check, which I do on a regular basis, is check to see the fund balances, because you
Which you're
have,
entitled to do, but
Correct,
you're
because-
not to have the authority to electronically send anything. That-
we haven't.
No, but that's what you wanted to do with
That's
the
what-
resolution.
It was
The
being done
resolution.
prior to myself coming into office. The 6 months that Maureen was not here, it was being done. And I understand that you didn't have a town clerk.
No, we had a town clerk that
3
refused to do the
months.
job.
Okay. I can't go back and correct what Patty did or didn't do during those 6 months, but I can just only talk from January 1st forward. And, you know, I can base my...
I think you're blowing smoke. I think the only thing is that what we try to do is it's easier and cheaper to just electronically transfer the money. You have a receipt, it's the same. It doesn't make any difference.
My concerns
The concern
were not...
is that we have is that you had $500,000 in the account, which you should not have had.
In the tax account?
Correct.
And
Right, and it's got to be transferred on a regular basis, correct?
to the county by the 15th of the
Right.
month.
That's correct.
And if you do not see that checks were issued and not cleared, then of course I'm going to have $500,000 in there because the checks weren't
Correct.
cleared. So, but
Right.
to go behind my back and want to change the procedures, I just want to address those. I'm here to tell you that
It's a town issue, I believe, and that the resolution that was done was not correct. So that's why we pulled it. Correct? Correct,
Right.
that's what we did.
It was wrong, yes.
Right, it was wrong.
It was not correct.
And
So we pulled it.
but in that, also in that
But
resolution,
also, the issue is, and I'll get into it with you if you want, Patty overdrew the account by $350,000 last year and then hid the fact for 3 or 4 days. So went to the bank, had the bank hide it, so on and so forth. I got a call from Ron Mosca that we were overdrawn $350,000 and no one knew it. So that's when we started looking at the money.
but those faults were last year and you had
Well,
it
I'm not
cleared
saying
last
it,
year.
that's right. I'm not saying it, but we have the right, I am the chief fiscal officer of the town. We have the right to know where the money is, where it's being spent and where it's being going, so on and so forth. I don't go in and transfer your money, I've never transferred any money. So
On
that's what
December
you're trying to
30th
say.
no,
Yes, you
not
have.
I have not
and
transferred
that's
them.
the
No,
other part
Sherry
of it.
has.
You would be the appropriate one to do said transactions, and that's not what was happening. The problem that I had in January when I came in to look at the funds and to do the monthly paperwork, on December 31st at 9:48 a.m., a transfer was done. You took out the monies that were due that day. When the auditors come in, they're going to say, why did you do that? Well, I have no idea, because after that fact, Patty went and made a cash deposit. So it's not even accurate to the town that whatever those transactions were for your given year, you still had cash that came in later on. If she had done that on January 2nd when the town hall reopened, then we wouldn't even be having these conversations. So I kind of thought to question to myself, why is the bookkeeper
Well, I
accessing
think at this
the
point, well-
accounts? So then I said, okay, and Patty says, well, she just said to do it and she could transfer it. I said to you, I have no problems doing it. But after speaking to all of the clerks in Dutchess County, having these at meetings, you know, that's not the practice that anyone else is doing. I want to do the job right. I have no problems moving into the 21st century and doing electronic banking, but I have a problem with the resolution. I spoke to the attorney, I spoke to the state comptrollers, I spoke to 4 auditors that are currently in this county, and they have seen it. It's just that we're not going through and getting all of our safeguards. You then have access to transfer those accounts at any time that you want. But what's not being understood and clear, that all of those monies are not yours. I have to pay other agencies. So if you go, I have $211 in the account. You take out $211, how am I supposed to pay the Department of Health, the county, the
Well, that's right.
Ag
We
to
haven't done-
Market?
We've never done it.
So I don't understand why the resolution was trying to be put through without having the corresponding with me and the rest of the board. Also within that resolution, and the board members need to understand, it says that you've had this and you believe that it's in the best interest of the town. Since I've been here in January, I do not recall at any town board meeting that you've discussed this.
We haven't.
So, you know, all I'm asking for, and I want the people to know I'm doing the best I
Well,
can.
you and Sherry have an issue. That's not gonna change. She doesn't like you and you don't like her. So that's the issue.
We're paying this person 30 grand a year. Who cares who she likes?
Well,
She's
that's what-
supposed
yeah,
to
but
do her
it's
job.
an internal problem that goes on forever.
Well, you're the chief fiscal
That's right.
officer. Take care of
We
it.
are
I
doing
think,
it.
you
We
know,
are.
It's a management problem. You
It's
don't
not
know
a
how to
management.
manage people.
let's have
That's not true at
civil,
all.
No, obviously, if there's a problem
civil
and people don't want
discourse.
to talk to
Let's
you.
have civil discourse.
Yeah.
If this is going to get into personnel, it should all be an executive session so that we can discuss it openly and not for
Well,
the audience.
It's an ongoing battle,
So-
and it's
Well,
like
the
it's like
transfer-
kindergarten.
I understand, but
It's
let's,
the process. Let's leave the names out of it. The process of any other office going into the town clerk's accounts, they're signed to the town clerk. I did not know that on January 1st, I was supposed to close all of my bank accounts and reopen them. I did not know that.
It's a learning process, so if there's an issue, let's discuss it
You know,
in
I thought
executive.
by leaving
It's
everybody
fine.
signing
It's
would have been
fine.
the appropriate thing to
Okay,
do.
was there any more to your report? Just, you know, is there any more?
No, just enjoy fishing on April 1st.
Okay, I have a question about burning permits. What is-
Burning permits are not required. You do not have to complete a burning
Until when?
permit, but it's through May 15th, March 15th through May 15th.
Okay, it would be nice to know because I've had questions about it and I don't know what to tell people.
We announced it back when it first, the day before, right? It's March 15th, you can stop
But
burning.
people are burning.
I know. If they're burning, you can call DEC 911. If you call 911, the fire department will come and the brush truck will appear and we'll put out the fire. And then if DEC is called, they'll issue
Okay.
a permit.
Great, I've had questions, I need an answer.
Yep.
Thank you.
All set?
All set.
Arlene?
Mike.
I saw that, she tried to fix it. She did it on purpose.
You all right? I'll take one, pass it down.
Right, Mike? Sorry. That's okay. I'll have to give a good one. Good evening. I'm the town's grant writer, Mike Haggerty. It's been a while. It's good to see you all tonight. Really just wanted to reconnect. I have a pretty active, updated grant report for you. We still have a lot of grants that we have to act on, really. I've been working on the Main Street grant, particularly following up with the landowners who have been chosen for the building renovation part of the grant, trying to get them to move their projects along, and also doing our part to gain approval from New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, because these are historic buildings. They have to be cleared for renovations, but that's probably just a formality because all the work that's being done is basically just renovating the buildings. I've been working on the kitchen grant. I spoke to Leo Blackman. He has measured out the space. He really just needs more information on what the intended use will be, so I think I can give him that after meeting with...
Did you see today's email that he's away?
Yes, yes. Good, I'm glad you saw that. He's on vacation, but he did respond to me, and...
Now, that we were awarded $25,000? That's the grant that was...
We're applying for it.
I'm applying for it.
We're
No,
getting the information together so we can apply.
I'm pretty confident we'll be able to get it once we get everything in order. In fact, Rural Development's having a grant workshop, which I'm going to be attending in Columbia County. It's coming up soon, or coming up in April. So I listed all the grants here. Wassaic Trail to the Train. It's interesting that the county has decided to give the town a new CDBG grant, especially considering some of the problems you've been having with Willow Lane. But so they are still behind this project. So we did get that grant. It hasn't been officially announced, but I believe Bill got a letter from the county executive. You had said that we're supposed to be getting that funding. On the main grant, we did get reimbursed for some of the costs of WSP cells. There are additional costs, which I'm going to be submitting a reimbursement claim for shortly. I spoke to Sherry about that. So we'll be, pretty much all of the design costs are covered under grants. So that's really, we're at the stage where this, it's a complex federal grant and WSP cells is navigating it through various approvals needed.
How are we doing with the right-of-ways? It sounds like Tonya was concerned that, were we progressing on that front and that there's a deadline for cells to wrap up their work in the next month or two?
I'll reach out to David Weiss, Vicki, because I don't really know where it is, particularly on that. That's going to be a big part of this, obviously.
There's no deadline.
Well, just with the grant, you mean, or?
I mean, they did a timeline, but there's not a deadline.
cells.
Yeah, there's a
So
timeline.
in other words, they will continue working on as long
Right.
as they need to for the price they specified and,
Right.
yeah, okay. So it would be nice though to know how they're progressing and what loose, if the timeline has changed, maybe we could get an updated timeline or an updated estimate of what all the next
From what
steps
I'm being
are.
told, it's not gonna happen this year.
No, they're planning more for the spring.
Spring of 2014?
2014.
Okay, so when is the CBDG grant due? So if, once they award it,
That's
it's
2
like...
years.
2 years? Okay.
Yes, yeah, you're given 2 years.
But I think Vicky's right, we need to find out from them as to where we are. I know they've
What
been
the
working
next
on the right
steps
of
are.
ways. The Metro North, one of the gentlemen sort of dropped the ball, we finally got who's the guy in Westlake? Terrence
Terrence
McCauley.
McCauley.
I got him I called him, he stepped in, and,
Well, he's been working right along with it.
Yeah, but he's not the one that's in charge of what we're looking for.
You know what I think I could
No,
do,
David
Bill,
Roth
is call
does.
David Weiss and also call the Department of Transportation to see where they are, because they did reply at least to their initial.
And I believe the seeker is done, right? We did that. We're
Yeah,
done.
Well,
they,
you're not
Not
completed,
done.
you're in the middle of
Oh,
it.
in the middle of it, right.
So you didn't,
you got the application of the things we
I've got
needed
the
to complete.
EAF, there's some
'Cause the cell
information that
sent us
has to
that.
be, you've got to, when you determine that your lead agency, you didn't get any responses to
Right.
your
So we have to do that
circulation.
next meeting.
And then, Dan Breyer gave a deadline, you have until, April meeting, you have to make your determination of significance. So you'll do that then.
Right.
And I think the only other issue was the parking in Wausau. We needed to show them where the parking would be
That's
in
tricky.
Wausau.
I know they pulled some maps that they were working on that they were gonna lay, so I think we could use, Gordon's plan, we could use some other stuff around.
Yeah, they gave us,
Metro North parking,
Okay. So Weiss is
Places.
incorporating these
Yeah.
ideas into his plan,
Right.
into their plan. Okay.
yeah, I mean, they're working, they're doing, they're taking all the steps that need to be
I'm on
done.
the,
So they're back and forth responding to the
Yes.
different agencies that need...
the DOT, I'm on the, the Dutchess County Department of Transportation Council. Basically, they're not gonna do anything out here until the one in Poughkeepsie gets done. That's basically what's gonna happen. I think they're doing a bridge on 55, is that done yet? I think that's what they're doing.
That's the Duchess Rail Trail, they're gonna
Yeah.
be connecting that
Right,
portion.
they're in the work,
yeah.
that's what the big push is, to get the Dutchess County Rail Trail done, to get that part done, then they'll come out here and they'll start with this. We tried to push it with them, but they just laugh at you. So-
You mean, well, this is our project, you mean the Wausau Trail to the train? or-
Correct, because the DOT has to take a look at it, they're saying 4 to 6 months before they even look at but they did look at it.
They
We
did
get
look at it and
comments.
gave recommendations.
Right.
So, but to push them along, the one across the parkway is gonna get done first.
Right, well, that is the way it works with the DOT, but we
Right.
can definitely
Well,
work
the
with
DOT
them
and Metro North, I mean, they move as fast as they want to.
Well, I'll call Carolyn Ryan, some of my contacts at the Department of Transportation.
I think I
and
have a
ask
DOT
about-
meeting next week, or another meeting next week, I'll ask them again, because the Metro North sits with us too, so both of them, I do have a conversation with them every month that we're there to see if we can push this thing forward.
Let me know if I could help with that, or go
Yeah.
to those meetings. I used to go to them when Wayne was on that also, because that is good to go to those meetings. They do discuss these issues, and you help promote our
Right,
particular
I keep pushing, I
projects.
keep pushing it.
Yeah, no, that's good. So that's what I'm going to do, is apply for reimbursement. There are a few grants coming up. The county has the Municipal Consolidation Incentive Grant that you may be interested in. It's due in June. It's where you were looking at consolidating departments or coming up with a consolidation or shared service with another community. This New York State also has a similar program, which is ongoing deadlines, but,
Well, we did talk about that. Have you seen what the requirements are? 'Cause we talked about seeing if we could do this building, if we can consolidate everything into the building, if we could help pay for the heating and air conditioning system. and
yeah,
so
I think
on and so
that
forth.
idea does qualify. The idea of a regional center, certainly. It would be serving other like you would be opening up town hall to other communities as like an
Other community
emergency.
organizations and so on and so forth, to bring them all under one umbrella.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe
great
that
idea.
would work.
I think it is an eligible project, so if you want to pursue it, it's coming up soon.
I would, I don't know what the board wants to do. If that's, I don't want to lose the money. If
I
that's,
think we're big enough here to obviously accommodate more, the whole upstairs, the classrooms. If we can get assistance with heating and cooling this giant infrastructure here, that sounds like a great option.
I talked to Mike about
It's a
that,
good
and
idea.
that's what we sort of
I think
came
we
up
should
with.
go for it because it's expensive, but it's, you know, down the road, it's going to save us money, so
No, we
it'll pay
can't
for
justify
itself.
the costs of maintaining this big building for our few staff. I mean, what have we got for staff here? You know, I mean, we need to use this building
Right.
in a wider thing, and if the county's willing to help us
Mm-hmm.
pay for the upkeep and the cost of the infrastructure that we still have yet to invest in, we should try it, because it's going to be a killer shouldering it all on our own few citizens.
Yeah, what's the amount of the grant for that one?
Actually, it's interesting, they don't have a set
They don't
amount.
have a set amount?
The best proposals win
Well,
out.
let's go
So you
for
could
it.
actually, but I mean, you still have to be realistic.
Yeah.
And
It's going to
competitive.
take some time
Yeah.
to put together some numbers, so I'll definitely need your help on that, like what is needed, what you're looking for. And I probably will need a resolution to authorize me to apply for the grant, but we have time.
Well, you can
maybe-
do that for us, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Like for maybe next meeting.
yeah, definitely.
The other thing is we are sharing our space with the Weebatuck School District, right? We have
Right.
space set aside. So in fact, we are already there with an actual
The concept is there,
contract
right, you've
that
already
we have.
reused the building,
We could
right.
show them that we have already reached out.
I think it is a good project.
Yeah.
Has that contract been finalized?
We just got it.
Well, let's submit
The
it.
Weebatuck-
Oh, right. I
Because
just
there was,
got it.
there was an amendment, there was amendment to the original contract.
As of, once we sign this
Yeah,
contract,
there-
right.
Amendment to the original
changes.
contract, they just sent, I guess there are some changes, I haven't had a chance, it literally came right before
The meeting
I left
So
for the
has the
meeting.
Weebatuck School Board approved the changes?
Yes,
They-
their attorney
We
has.
should review all the
Yeah, I don't
little
know, they
items.
they
The
said
board
that they
has
were
to.
going
The
to be
Weebatuck School
approving it, I
Board
don't
has
think
to.
they've approved it yet.
I believe he
So
said
it's a
today,
work in
Jim Grotto
progress.
left me a message today that in essence, they're okay with it.
Okay,
The attorney has said okay with it. It must have to go to the board, I would assume, then they'll
Correct.
sign off on it. But what we have done, we renegotiated the contract with the school district. When the town originally took this building all over, there were 4 rooms upstairs which they retained, and they mowed the lawn. So what we have done is we are taking control of those 4 rooms. We are also taking control of the lawns and mow it on a regular basis so it doesn't look like Tobacco Road out here, and it'll be done. We did do a room over in the basement for them, which has been completed. We put new tile floor in, we painted it, and I think there's a phone and a computer hookup, which is done. That was completed last week. That was the final thing we've done, so I did speak to Jim Grotto. We've played phone tag for 2 days.
So you have the contract with the changes, you have to review.
I'll have to review that. I had
And
sent
then-
them,
Okay, and then you need to come to a meeting of the minds, and then the school board has to approve it, and then we have to approve it.
correct.
Correct.
Okay, so we're not there yet.
Almost.
Okay.
One thought that came to mind, and maybe it's just out there, but the covered salt shed, the DOT has that site just south of Sin Patch Road, right? The DOT's site, is that possibly big enough for them to share their land and have us do even our own salt pile there?
It's a state DOT.
State
right?
DOT,
Yeah.
sorry,
You
I
know,
believe the county said that we could use theirs, right?
here in town.
Yeah.
I just think the other location is much better.
Well, the county's doing
We
the
were
shared services,
Yeah.
and I know that they had that conversation, but
Is
I'll
it
double.
really big enough, though? It doesn't look big enough. Because we looked at it for a sewer site,
Right.
I mean,
and it's very hemmed in with a stream. It's got a stream right next to it. It's got the highway. I don't know, it's bounded
shared-
on several sides.
But if we go for county shared services and we share with the county, I
Right.
think our
I
options are
think we
better
should
than with the
ask.
state.
I think we should ask around. I mean, I don't know about you, Stan, but the problem I have is that we still have not resolved where we're going to safely store salt. If you keep your garage there and add improvements and build new structures there, you still don't really have an appropriate site for salt, or you think you can accommodate that as well with the structure?
room there, there's just no money to put one there.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive to put anything there on that site because of the fill. 7 to 12 feet of stuff that isn't appropriate for building.
What's the option besides salt?
There's quite a few different options, but the state and county doesn't use them. Over in Connecticut, they're using them. There's lawsuits going on because it's real corrosive.
And it's expensive. Salt is cheap,
And
right?
salt's the cheapest. Exactly.
That's the problem. I mean, I just think that while we're talking about shared services, we should be talking about them sharing land with us that could be in a better location.
I still think the county would be a better option
Right.
than the state.
I know they've had that discussion, we're on the Northern Dutchess Alliance, and I know they've had those discussions with the Highway Department. I'll double check with them to see where we are with that,
Yeah.
with the DOT. They've gone from like 100, 200 men to what? Under 100, I think, or 100, right?
The county?
Yeah, does that sound right? They've really cut back. What other grants can we get?
Well, we did once have a grant for a salt shed, but it wasn't
cover enough.
exactly, it was
$75,000.
down at that site, but actually, the DEC does still give those grants, the Clean Water Act, I believe
Not
it is.
for salt sheds anymore. I thought
I
that
think
was
you
the
still can
last
get
event.
them. For 50%, they have that annual program that they offer in June. So yeah, there is still money out there, I mean, I would say.
Well, we
And
first have
technical
to find a
assistance.
site. I mean,
Right,
without
that's
a
always been the
site,
problem.
we don't have.
Right. Well, there's feasibility studies. The State Department of State grant, maybe that would be a good one for that, to do a study of where.
We've studied it enough.
We've studied.
All right, well, I'm just giving idea. You asked if there are any grants, and that's what I can think of right off the top. But I'll think of some others. Meanwhile, I do have a pretty good list from what you have, our existing grants, and plus if we do apply for town hall, I think that would be a good one.
I think so.
And what happened with the one for the Wasake project? That's still.
I haven't heard yet. I think it's not on here.
It's not on there. That was $350,000.
I'll put it back on if you want. That was sort of from their
Right.
perspective, but yeah. It hasn't been decided that I know of yet.
Didn't we apply for the state Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation for money for the rail trail as well?
Yeah, we didn't get it.
Okay.
It was turned down.
Okay.
But it comes up again. Could refashion it. It's due in June.
The
Greenway is also coming up again. And we're eligible because we closed out the last grant.
which one?
The Hudson River Valley Greenway. They've always been very supportive of that project. We could probably, if we needed it, if you need more money for the project.
Well, maybe
probably
we could
approach
go
it
for some of the trailhead improvements.
Right.
10K here or
for a
there.
signage.
Signage.
Like that sign you were talking about, that
Yeah.
would probably be a very good one.
I think you're right.
We have 25,000, correct, from the Main Street grant for trees, plants, shrubs.
Yes.
Where are we? I talked to Kevin. Now's the time to plant the trees, if we're gonna do it.
We can go ahead. We have the grant, we have the contract. So
Right.
really it's a matter of us, like you have to do the work, you have to do it, get the quotes and do it with
So we
public
just have to
bidding.
get the quotes for the trees that they have to do, and whatever, they need,
Well,
they
I
need
think
to.
you have to get the locations first.
Right.
I think.
I think they have the locations.
So if you have
'Cause we're gonna
anything
lose this
within
money
the
if we
right
don't-
of way, it has to go before the DOT. So if you're planning on putting it in the sidewalks, as I understood from the engineer, the traffic engineer that we spoke to, it has to go before the DOT if it's within the right of way. If it's behind the sidewalk, it's probably it's gonna have less trouble. But if it's in the sidewalk, in their right
Well,
of
then
way.
we're probably not gonna plant the trees there, then we're gonna
that's
decide
my
where we're gonna put the
problem.
trees.
Yeah,
Well, we were going to do benches too, right?
Right, benches, so that's.
needs to be behind, right, those locations is, to my knowledge, other than Leo's plan.
Millerton
Which
just
was
did it,
East
so
Main.
I don't understand why we just don't plant them. They didn't, DOT hasn't taken them out. So, if you look at the village of Millerton, they planted them on the
Yeah.
DOT right away, every one of them.
They didn't ask. I remember
They didn't
discussing that
Right.
with DOT. How did they happen to get their trees there?
They
He
just
said
did
they
it.
never asked us, they just put them in.
Right.
they're still there.
And they're still there.
So maybe we should just plant them and be done with it.
No, I think we have to have a plan. We have to do it right.
Oh, yeah, that's right, but, we need to move forward with this.
Yeah.
These,
We need to
Yeah.
get the, before you dig, we need to get the
Right.
site locations, we need to get estimates, we need to go through the process the right way. But Kevin and I were gonna drive around and just find sites. Now, if anybody wants to join us next weekend, I can't do it this weekend, Kevin, if you're watching, but next weekend, we could drive around and mark out where we want benches and where we want trees,
Yeah.
and if we
When
want
are you gonna
additional
do that?
lighting on the east side,
What,
on the,
what-
sorry, south side.
on which weekend and what time?
This week, not this weekend, but the following would be
Yeah.
April 6th.
Okay.
And we could do it at your leisure if you have a time that you'd like to join us. 10 a.m. is usually.
Yeah, just had, someone called an appointment today, so I don't know, it's on the 6th, but I don't know what time.
Okay.
Can I get back to you?
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Let's do
I'll
it.
go.
Okay, so the four of us,
Yeah.
and if nothing else, I'll just let everybody know when Darlene can do it.
Okay.
Okay.
And have they picked the trees? What kind of trees they're looking for?
Not yet. No, we went to a pruning workshop. We have some ideas. We certainly have good experts in the town who can, once we find the location, they can say, is it salt tolerant, is it shade, or is it columnar, or, you know, there are
Yeah, let's
different
get going on
things.
this.
Okay.
So
Not
we're not
waste
going
any
to do
time.
any vintage light through there?
I think I would look at it also, because I thought that if you put some lights that would probably need DOT approval as well on the opposite corner of M&T Bank, it would help mirror this gateway to
Yeah,
East Main.
I don't think the lights are a problem so much as supplying the electricity
Right.
and where is it coming from?
Right,
You know, it's
that'll
not,
probably be
Well,
costly.
you can get solar lights.
they're not enough to illuminate those.
No.
No. And when we did the lights at Fountain Square, we wanted to do them by, well, the old day nursery and up in there, but there was no source of power other than the private owners, and no one is going to supply light to a lamp. But things have changed. Maybe some of these businesses may want to do that, which that would be a benefit. But
You
I mean,
don't
we
have
could
a
pursue it.
lighting district in downtown? There's no
Hmm?
lighting district?
Pardon me?
Don't you have a lighting district in downtown?
Yeah.
We do.
But it's all on one side.
It's all on one
It's
side.
not in East Main Street?
It is, but it's all on one side of the street.
It's
So that
all-
could be part of this, maybe extending, using that.
But it's all underground conduits. We were doing the sidewalks at the time, so it made it
Mhm.
easier to do it then. We're not doing sidewalks. We're not doing anything other than, you know, some of these
Enhancements.
buildings and tree planting. It's a lot different than having a meter on someone's building that they're supplying the power. I mean, the power to the building is fine, but then each individual meter is a separate bill. You know, if the town were to take it over, it
the
gets very
town would
complicated. It gets
Right. I
complicated.
can see.
But, you know, we may have some business owners who would like a lamp post. So I'll explore that. I'll make the phone calls.
Anyway, we just really need the plan and then bid the work out, and we can get reimbursed the 25,000. So there's no match for that, so it's just whatever, you know.
Yeah, we should be doing that next month, though, if we're doing it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's time. It's been a year and a half.
We need to do it now.
Almost 2 years. You're into this
I
thing.
think we need to submit, you know, formal drawings to the DOT if it's going to involve the right-of-way at all. I'd prefer going the way, you know, not having any surprises, but to
Okay.
submit it to
Yeah,
the DOT.
because we could put the lamp post, we put the lamp post in. DOT's comment to where we had the lamp post was the quality of, or how many lumens we were going to produce.
Right.
So
And are we gonna
that was
pay
their
for it?
concern. If
Right,
we're lighting
right.
it and it's safer, I think we have an option. So let's pursue it.
Okay.
And where are we with the town garage while we're at it?
We went and looked at them, I think, 3 weeks ago now, probably. No, 2 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks
Do you
ago.
need to get with John and do bid specs or do stuff?
Yeah, and I contacted John when I came back. I was away for 2 weeks, and we discussed it briefly, but he didn't have the time to really sit down and go through it. And so we need to get together and do that.
Okay.
So you just need the bid specs, correct? That's what we're after?
Yeah.
Then we can go to
Yeah.
bid?
Yep, I have the plans in my office.
Arlene,
All right, thanks.
thank you, Mike.
I appreciate you letting me go first.
Good night, thank you.
Arlene Giuliano, our town historian. My suggestion is that everybody comes up here, tell their name. The first speaker, way back, didn't tell his name. I didn't know who was talking. It might be, it's certainly got to be helpful for the town clerk, even though she may know who it is. Better we say it. Anyway, 2 or 3 things here, starting with, and I did talk to Bill, I think if you remember. You got a lot to remember, so I can't say. This is April is Grange month, and there's a Granger. I have come before the town in the past with a proclamation, and it's up to you if you would like to read it later, Bill, and sign it. I used to do it for the old Amenia Grange, and of course there is no Amenia Grange anymore. But as a member of the Stone Church Grange, those few of us that were left in that old Amenia Grange joined Stone Church, which is on the Dover line, located down in Dover. And so, shall I give it to you?
Sure. Yeah.
And then you read it later. There's no edge here, and I got so much stuff. Okay, thank you, I'm sorry. Thank you. Got too much stuff, I guess. Anyway, I don't know if most of you know what the Grange is. It's an organization that was started after the Civil War as an outcome to help people during the Reconstruction period, especially people in the West, especially the farmers, to provide them with a way to get together and not only socialize, and also come up with some ideas of how to take care of the Reconstruction period and how to get back into regular everyday living, which took a long time. But the Grange was one of the very active groups at that time, ultimately, and it evolved out of the office of the Secretary of Agriculture after the war, and ultimately became a very vibrant organization, and still does a lot. Was a friend of the farmer, that's another name for it, and still is interested in farming, agriculture, and what have you, but also does a lot of fundraising for all kinds of groups. So it's not just held to farming anymore. So I'd appreciate it if you guys would read it, sign it, and get it back to me if you don't.
You'll have it tonight.
Yeah, I know. I did speak to Bill before, so I think you knew I was coming. You knew I was coming with that, right?
Yep.
Okay, a couple of other things. Well, now if I can find my papers, gang, sorry. That's what you get for being too organized, right? Now as a historian, I've mentioned this before, but I want to remind the board and the people that National Travel and Tourism Week and a brochure exchange is going to take place at the Mid-Hudson Children's Museum Pavilion in Poughkeepsie on May 7th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I have said that I will go out to that event and would take anybody and everybody's brochures. In other words, to advertise the town of Amenia. That's what I would, right, at that time. Town of Amenia doesn't really have a brochure anymore.
Our historic walking tour.
Huh?
Our historic walking tour brochure for
All right,
was
well-
sick.
This thing is not working here, I'm sorry. Okay. Yes, I can bring in everything, but just for your information, and maybe you want to think about this, and maybe you want to take money right out of my account for it. I have no problem with that.
We had them printed, right, last year?
These were printed in 2001. Lana and I worked on it. I think Lana did most of it. I don't know if you have any.
Oh, yeah, that's
We don't
the
have any of them.
map of,
I have some in my office, actually. You dropped them off when you first
I don't
produced
know.
those.
So,
Yeah,
2001.
I have this, yeah.
You need, yes.
Thank you.
of all the
Yeah.
streets. It was really
I
cute.
keep everything.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was really cute, but it has been
I have
updated
one
for a
before
while.
that one. But I mean, I didn't bring in the copies. Right.
Mm-hmm. You can turn it into a PDF wherever it exists.
May 7th is
It's cute.
pretty, not too far away.
Yeah.
The brochure I just handed out to the board was printed in 2001. And it's pretty well done. I mean, at that time, we had, the rail trail was really coming on, right? At this point, the brochure I'm basically using is the one that we prepared for the quadricentennial. It's not really a brochure about the town per se and the offices and what you do and et cetera, et cetera. It's a different brochure. The one for Wassake, which is an excellent one too, but basically there's not the same as this type of brochure. And I don't know if you all want to do something about this.
I think we should.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's some corrections that have to be made.
You know, these things have, a few things had to be changed, obviously. Telephone numbers, points of interest, there may be some changes there. Anyway, other towns are, I have one from Fallen. This is what they're doing. But anyways, it is up to you. I'm just putting that out as something that maybe you want to think of. While tourism is something that I have to talk about, as I've told you before and told the public too. You know, it's a part of the role, definition of my role as town historian, to promote tourism, and I think that's appropriate.
Absolutely.
To be honest with you, and not everybody maybe wants to see what a historic site, but to me, history is yesterday. Everything is history, one way or another. And so maybe you can think about that and let me know. In the meantime, I'll be, if there's anybody that you think might have, I don't know what businesses have brochures. Who has them? I don't know, other than what you're saying. Yes, we could use that. Could people leave them here at the town hall if they have them, if they want to, if they don't want to attend this particular event, if you guys think it's appropriate, I'll be glad to, take them out there and advertise for us. So, but May 7th is not too far off for us to develop a new one, but that may be a good sample for you to think about anyway, that particular one. And I mean it, you can take the money, I don't know how much it would cost, I can't really tell. That's
To
pretty plain.
reprint the brochure, this brochure? Well, I think that we can even do it in-house because our printer upstairs does,
But there
certainly would
needs to
do
be
two
changes,
colors.
there need to be changes, that means.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but that's something.
we'd have to have volunteer.
But
Well,
if
no, they
you-
could probably go back to the fountain press. They probably have it already on a PDF file. They can make the
With
correction.
Fountain Press, yeah, if you want, I'll go to Fountain Press.
Sure.
Ask 'em.
Just ask them.
I'll follow
probably
through as
easier.
best I can on this and
Sure.
then bring it, but certainly not take any action until I get it back to you.
They've
But
been
it's a
pretty fair
thought,
with us as far as prices.
There's still a lot of the brochures from the quadricentennial. That's really the property of the Historic Society. On the other hand, they got so many of them, I take them. And that's what we're filling in with now. The Wassaic one, really, that's a great one. We may
It's
need to
great.
think of that too, you know, but anyway.
Who did that?
That was, well, the design was done
No, who
by
printed it?
Leslie Ellers, and we printed it at Fountain Press. They gave us the best quote, I
Do you
believe.
have enough?
Do we still have those historic walking
Pardon?
tours brochures? Do we still have a supply?
I don't know. Where would they be?
I thought you were printed some just in black
Oh,
and white.
I still have,
To
there was
get us
100
through
of those.
the event? Yeah.
Thanks to Maureen Rooney, she donated half of the price, and I donated the other half of the price.
That's right.
It was only 100 copies, and I think it was, $100, $100 for the 100 at that time. But we paid for that.
Are they color or black and white?
Their color. Well, the
They're in
original
color.
was color. Very nice.
They're very nice, yeah. They are they're out in the hallway
Yeah.
there, the two that I'm talking about. But I think we really might need to do something like this, but
Sure.
I'll look into the price, okay?
Yep,
From
absolutely.
front, okay. All right, now there's also the Duchess Pathway Program, and I have to talk about that. Valerie LaRobediere, those of us on the eastern side, Eastern Duchess, are working on a program. She's the major coordinator of this. Duchess Pathways, where we were trying to, she's developing a program that she also suggests that we have a brochure for, but the ideas of what we would be doing this year on Eastern Duchess, and I think I've said it before, but I have to reinforce this, is there's two potential pathways. One to feature the Route 22 corridor, the Oblong Valley, especially the Oblong Valley, over here in Eastern Duchess and Amenia. We're the only ones that use that name, to my knowledge. Oblong Valley in that one section down in, on the eastern side. There's also, pardon?
There's the Oblong Land Conservancy in, I
That's
think,
right,
Pauling.
yes.
So there's a few
Okay.
still using it
As the name.
that direction, at least.
All right, and there's also the Quaker sites, and meetings are going to begin April 4th. They're also suggesting a brochure. That's why I'm suggesting this one, but I'm not sure if, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do on this. What I'll do is, and I think I said this before, but it's coming along fast. I think we should be involved. I'll do what I can. I think I said this before. I hate to keep repeating, but it does sound to me like it's something that over here, even though tourism is a part of this, I have to be, I'm supportive of that. I'm supportive of us being, involved with tourism. Aren't you?
Sure,
Absolutely. You've
And
got
I
the
keep-
Stone Church, and then you come up Route 22. We're the only ones with the beehive kilns that are preserved. I mean, we have sites that
Yeah,
are.
I don't think that's in the path,
Could be.
yes, that could be another path. In the pathway they're talking about, the Oblong Valley,
Oh,
we're
They
not,
have a
it doesn't
set
go over to
path.
Route 22.
I see.
So it's just along through,
I see.
and I'll find out more detail about exactly what.
You can't list this stuff? There's so much stuff
Well,
here.
she's saying there's already a
Right.
specified route, and if we have things like we have lots of
You have to
history
get there, which means you have
to get
you have
there.
to go.
Right.
There's a
And
lot of
there's-
history back there.
And again, there's signage that's involved here. And I'm repeating myself, but I think we need to repeat it because this is what's ongoing. And I don't know
You
what.
mean the
this-
tourism signs? Is that what you're looking for sites?
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
yes,
So a brochure with corresponding
Right.
signs so that
Yes.
the person driving the route
Yep.
could self-administer their
yep,
tour.
that's right. So I'm not telling you anything that I haven't told you before, but I want to keep on telling you.
No, I think that's excellent. We certainly did that before
Because
in the county.
it's the town that's going to have to support this. That's what I'm finding.
Well, every meeting that I go to within the county and so on and so forth, it's a tourism,
Yes.
they're all pushing it, everybody.
I know it.
It's just the
That's
people that are here,
That is
that are
the
coming through the
thing.
county, they have what,
Yeah,
how many millions of people they have on that
Oh, millions.
Millions.
Millions. Exceeded
On-
their
right.
expectations.
It's paid for.
Yeah.
So the trail over the Hudson,
right.
it's incredible.
People don't, I think it's hard to say, oh, somebody's gonna come over from Poughkeepsie to see us.
They
Yes,
do.
they might. I don't like this negative attitude. that
They
nobody
come
go-
from all over to the garden
right.
tour.
Well, yeah, come all over for the rail trail too, but now that,
That's right.
the other one's taken, but I think this is a better rail trail than the other one.
That's a pretty nice rail trail.
So, you're not crossing 55, you're crossing 82 and so on and so
Right.
forth, where you get run, it's a lot more
Beautiful.
traffic out there. This is beautiful.
Very
here.
scenic, ours.
So,
Anyway, so if you, we can do something with that type of brochure, I think that would be helpful. But, anybody do you have, I don't know who has brochures, do you know? The Cascade Winery, and I not mean to select out, I don't know if they have. Who has?
Yeah, not
I
three.
think we've talked
not a-
about this before. And
I've seen some around, but they're not trifolds, it's one sheet. But
Yeah, so I don't know if we can put it on the TV. We'd have to come up with something that makes sense, right?
What about the chamber? I know it's beyond Amenia, but if we were featured prominently in the Chamber of Commerce, do they put out a brochure?
Not that I know of.
Anyway, so I'll keep trucking along,
okay,
all right?
yep.
And while I'm here, this whole thing with recycling, this whole thing with the and you remember, Bill, I'm not sure, and the baseball, I mean, that was a big thing to have build that stadium, and I don't, Mike is not supporting it, that's his position. And I don't know how much we benefit out of it, but it was a major project, and I hate to see it go down. That's a nice stadium out there, where the Renegades play, Dutchess Stadium.
Well, they use it for other things, too.
That's
They
right.
have concerts there all the time.
That's right, so it's not something and it's costly, there's no two ways about it. I don't know if there's any contractors out there who would volunteer to do something, I don't know what the volunteerism is, but anyway. But, so if you would, with the proclamation especially.
I'm
if you
ready
would-
to read.
We're gonna read it right now?
I'll sit down then, it's better I
Sit
sit
down.
down.
Okay.
Thank you.
You want your proclamation, you gotta sit down.
Proclamation, April 2013 is Grange Month, American Values, Hometown Roots. Whereas the National Grange of the Order of Patrons of Husbandry is celebrating 145 years of service to America, whereas the service through educational efforts of the Grange and its members have aided innumerable people both in and out of the order to reach their full potential as leaders and people, and whereas Grange members have performed uncountable hours of service projects to improve their communities and to better the lives of their fellow citizens, whereas the service of nonpartisan legislative advocacy of the Grange through the unified efforts of its membership have immeasurably benefited local communities and our nation as a whole, and whereas the fellowship and family atmosphere of the Grange serve millions of Americans by strengthening the social connections through a multitude of activities, and where Grangers are supportive of agriculture, rural America, and American values as these form the bedrock of American society, whereas the Grange continues to serve every American through our hometown roots. Therefore, be it resolved that the Stone Church Grange, number 1561, supports the proclamation of the Order of the Patrons of Husbandries, President Edward L. Luttrell, and proclaim April as Grange Month for the year 2013.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Reamer?
yes,
Councilwoman Brody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes. What's the date today?
28.
28.
Town board has to sign it. Any other committee reports while we're here? That's it?
I'll just mention the CAC did not meet. An enhancement met, and we talked about walking around and locating trees and amenities, and basically cleanup day is coming up, and I believe it's the third Saturday, the 20th of April, and we will be providing bags and gloves for anybody who wants to participate. And if you have a neighborhood that you want to adopt, let me or Kevin Cassone know, and we'll make sure that you get that area designated for you. And that morning of the 20th, 10 to noon, we'll be providing those bags. Just come by or let us know ahead of time if you want to have your bags before 10 o'clock. And usually we find somebody who has a pickup who can drive around and pick up bags if you don't have a truck or something like that. We'll talk to the transfer station. They have been, I told them originally that this has been a time-honored concept, is that people should be allowed to bring in their bagged garbage trash from the roadside pickup for free that day without a permit. So I'll make sure that that's still okay for the transfer station at Welsh's.
Anybody else? That's it. Discussions, the Amenia Water, we have 2 contracts that are due for the preventive maintenance agreement to the Amenia Water Company, location LaValle Road. These are for the generators, and one for the Amenia Fire District. There should be a third one.
He only had 2.
I thought we paid for the Wassaic Fire District also.
We do, but there are only 2 bids. Yeah, we do pay for them also.
We do pay for that, so should be a third one here, right?
Maybe it's not a Shrek?
Yeah, they do them
No,
all.
he does all of them.
Oh. Yeah, they should all be included.
Yeah, I just realized that. All right, let me just pull that one, deal with that later. We talked about this before, but I realized now that there's a backhoe at the transfer station, do we want to get rid of it? Do you have any use for that backhoe, Stanley? No. It's pretty beat, right? So the question is, the board want to get rid of it? We could put it in the sale this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sale is different this year. It's consignment, not auction. Does that mean it goes in with a price?
I'm not really sure.
Well, in any case, I think we should dispose of it.
Well, a roll
Somebody
call.
may want it for parts.
Oh, I need a motion to make
Who
a,
would like to make the motion?
I'm not going to make the motion. I'm not going to vote either.
Do we have to set a minimum bid in order to dispose of
Depends on the
property?
value of the expected value of it. You should make a determination, you could do it by motion, but that it's no longer useful
Right.
to the town. I don't know, how much do you think it's worth?
I haven't seen it in a few years, to be honest with you.
Well, how
Well,
old
we
is it?
know that it is, got certain issues that we did not correct because of the cost of repairs. So there's repairs that will have to be done if somebody's going to actually.
I'd say about $3 grand.
That it's worth? Yeah.
Somebody will make that motion, we'll,
I'll make a motion that we disperse.
what's that?
We also have that truck 93,
Yeah?
the one that we replaced last year. That's not worth anything. We haven't used it, we didn't use it last year, didn't use it this year. It just sits down there and rotting away. Can we put that in there at the same time?
What else you got? Make a whole lot.
We have an old
Clean up.
trailer. We have an old trailer that's been there forever.
$9,500 worth?
What's that?
No, that's the one we're getting.
I know.
Yeah, we
Try and
have
make some
another
money.
Yeah, probably the old trailer too. I don't know what year. it is.
Sure.
But the truck's a 93.
A 93 truck, your truck?
I'd say $3,000 for that too. And the trailer probably 300 or maybe 150. I mean, the axles are all bent. It's really in rough shape.
Are you gonna go to this auction?
I'll probably be around.
Because they get close to these prices, they should probably take it.
What's that?
You get close to these prices, we should probably take it. Right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to make a
Yeah.
decision if
Yeah,
we're
we could
close.
buy it.
I'd say if we
I
have a.
I don't want to buy it back, right? Just, if it's 2,500 and we say 3,000, you want to get rid of it? That's a question.
I think the town would,
You
Would
could
have
set
to-
a minimum
yeah,
price.
if applicable,
Yeah,
the
for
minimum
consignment,
price
it's
is.
different than auction.
We've done it in the past and it didn't bring what we wanted, so we took it back.
Oh, okay.
So you were able to put a minimum bid.
Right, and they didn't charge us for it. I don't know if things has changed or not, but I'll talk to Ed.
All right. And you make arrangements, get that stuff up there?
Yeah, where's the key for the backhoe?
I assume in it.
All right, I'll check tomorrow.
All right. Somebody want to make a motion to get rid of it?
I'll make a motion that we authorize Stan to put the backhoe in the floods auction for a minimum bid of $3,000, a 93 truck for minimum of $3,000, and a used trailer for a minimum of $150.
I don't need you're on the used trailer, right?
I think just say generically used trailer.
Okay. Need a second.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Flood?
I'm going to abstain. It is my brother's auction for consignment sale, whatever. Other matters?
What's going on with Recreation Director?
I spoke to the last applicant yesterday. She's interested in the job.
Is that Bordello?
Yeah, we just have to come up as to what we want to pay, and she was going to go back and make sure she could change her schedule to work the hours that we need for the pay that we're going to pay,
Okay.
and so on and so forth. So that's where we're at with that.
So
I
you'll-
did talk to her about, obviously, if she wants more money once she gets started, we can get more grants and so on and so forth, and to get her salary up. I would assume we could
But
probably do that.
we're staying within the budget line right
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Okay. So you'll keep us informed about how that's going?
Mm-hmm.
Was the line added for the building inspector for the areas that had to be cleaned up and added to the taxes? Because he had to pay Welch? How was that handled?
Oh, right.
A line item?
You were supposed to
I
add
think
a
we did
line.
I don't know if we did that
He had a
yet.
bill from Welch and he wanted to know where it would come from to pay it.
Well, it has to go on the county, on the.
Yeah, but he has to pay them first.
We
And then
paid
the
it.
and then the money goes,
We paid the bill.
yeah, but where did you take it? What line did you take it out of? Just
I
contingency?
think we took it out of contingency. It had to be paid.
But it
And
had to
then-
go out of contingency into a line. You
I
can't
think-
pay
I-
out of
I think we did it. I
contingency.
think we did it last month. I'll double check. It was done.
Because I just want to make sure that's
Yep.
handled.
Yep.
And what plan are we putting in place for the background checks for the youth program? workers?
Mary got the list yesterday. Christine worked with the town of Dover, I believe, and has a company through the county, I believe. But I know she got the list today to start getting the people in here.
Okay. And could she shoot us all an email so we know what's going on with that? And also, is there a contract with the town of Dover for the dog warden shared services?
Yep. Oh, we don't have one yet. The town of Dover supervisor's on vacation. Email went out to him last week, and I spoke to him, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So that'll be done shortly.
Okay, so right now, we have a dog warden and no place to put the dogs?
No, we do. We have an agreement between myself and Ryan Cortine that we can put them in the town of Dover.
And what's happening with the town of Amenia purchased kennels that are at John Tewitt's?
I was unaware that they were purchased. I think they're trying to pull the files to see what was bought. Right?
Because the town bought them and installed them
know.
at his place.
No one knows what was bought.
What are they? Sorry.
The kennels.
You mean
Oh,
Kerry?
installed kennels?
Yeah, he has them on his property, so what are we doing about that?
They're
if
permanent
anything?
structures?
Are they crates? Or are they
Yeah, what
permanent
is it?
structures?
Well, they're kennels. I haven't gone down and looked at them.
Oh.
But the town bought them and put them there, so I just wondered what we were going to do about it.
Well, once that agreement is with Dover, then they can
Move
look
them
at
out,
it
yeah.
and see where they're going to go to,
Right.
it's mutually,
Because I know he
Agreeable.
handed in all his appearance tickets and others, but I just didn't know what was going on with that. And also, we received a cross-contamination program from, that was emailed to us by Marco, and it's something, we're required to have this program in place. And the one we were emailed, it's proposed, it's a proposed Department of Health cross-contamination program plan for the town of Amenia. And he worked on it with the Department of Health, so it's been approved by them. We just need to approve it so that we have it in place. We don't have anything in place at this time. Then it goes back to him to be sent to the Department of Health for their engineer to sign off on it.
Correct.
Right now, we're not,
Well,
we
Marcos-
don't have this in place.
That's a little bit of, we've
Still
been
time.
talking to the engineer in the health department, and Ian spoke to him today. You want to go ahead with it?
Well, you're correct. You need this cross-connection plan.
Is your pen?
Contamination plan in place,
Cross-contamination.
which we don't, and we're out of
Correct. You're
Out of
in
compliance right
violation.
now.
You haven't been violated though by Department of Health.
Not yet,
Not yet.
You've never been in compliance.
but we need to get in compliance now, is my point.
So you're required to make sure all of your users are in compliance with the Department of Health regulations, which require for certain users, if there is a supplemental or auxiliary water source, if they have a well or something like that,
Right.
or certain commercial uses where there's hazardous materials, gas stations, for example, they've got to have some type of device that,
The reverse positive valve, they have to have, the RPZ,
Okay.
they're called.
and the town's obligation is to make sure the users that have them. And you do have to submit this plan to Dutchess County.
So we have a plan, so
Okay.
do we need to approve it now? Do you need to look at it?
well, I think,
Where are we with this?
I just got this afternoon, so I don't know
Right.
about the rest
Well,
of it.
there's
4
some issues
o'clock.
with it.
Yeah, so I haven't even had a chance
I
to look
haven't
at it.
Right.
seen this.
I just want to see what the
plan.
next step is, so we can get, we're not
Well,
in
what he's proposed,
compliance
some
right
of it's
now.
not correct. That's the problem.
I want to be sure that it's not mandated throughout the town because it's an enormous expense. So I think we need an inventory. And I haven't read it. Maybe this is in it. I don't know.
Well,
But
John
I-
Fenton already sent a letter out, I believe, to a lot of the businesses it would affect, from what I understand.
Right, that was a few months ago. That still doesn't meet, the requirements under the regulations. You've got to have this plan.
Right. So where
so
are
you-
we in getting this plan in place?
I haven't seen what you're saying that Marco prepared a plan.
I mean, I can forward it to you.
Yeah, I'd like to
It's called a
take a look at it.
cross-connection control, black backflow prevention assemblies required program for the town of Amenia. It's probably a boilerplate. I think that's where we left it
Okay.
last time. I said,
Here you
prepare
go.
something for us.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the problem is the cost.
To the business owners and
No,
residents.
the business owners have to do them.
They have to do,
Unfortunately, they let 3 businesses here that just opened, they didn't put them in. So there's some issues that not being done. So between Marco and if it's not really Marco's job, it's the building department's job to make sure or Marco's job that they get it done. That's what we have to make sure. We have to have it done. I just had mine inspected, and there are issues with what was installed. So there's some stuff that we have to make sure it gets done and done right. And I've had a lot of people, public, call. They're concerned that, you know, he's saying every water softener has to be done. Health department's saying that's not true. I talked to Pete Sotero also. There's a little valve that has to be installed, but who's inspecting all these things? So
You're certified inspectors.
that's correct.
And there's a list, and you pick somebody from the list, and you have them come in and inspect it.
Or John can take the class, and as the building permits come in, he can make sure that they're done. So that's an issue that some issues that we have to take a look at also. I'm not saying we don't need it, we need it, but it's not something that's gotta be done immediately. He's been out of compliance for 2 or 3 years.
But we need to have a plan to get it in place.
Sure,
Right.
but I don't wanna give somebody carte blanche that they have the right to start charging people either. So I think we have to be careful as to who's gonna do the inspections and who's gonna charge the fees, who's gonna install them, and so on and so forth. It's up to the
Well, the only
to-
ones who can inspect them are certified inspectors,
correct, or your
and there's a
plumber.
list.
So
I mean-
this
But you
this
can
needs
have
to
your
go
own-
to the county to be looked at? I mean, they give us some feedback? Who's gonna give us the feedback on this?
Department of Health.
Ron Miller is the engineer.
He's Ronald Miller.
that
I spoke to
oversees.
him this week.
You could show this to him and see if it's satisfactory.
Yeah.
I spoke to him yesterday, and my understanding was that you've got to provide the county with the devices that have been installed. They want some information on what,
They want to know if they've been inspected.
well, not just that they've been inspected, that there's a device installed, and what kind of device it is, and on what property.
So you're going to follow up on
I could-
getting a program put into place? Is
Yeah.
that something you're working on?
Well, I spoke to Bill about this earlier, and I mean, I don't know how to draft the plan. I think it's something that an engineer or somebody that maybe Marco is qualified to do this. I don't know.
They must have a list of approved valves that we could select, or, there must be something that.
Pete
we don't wanna
Sotero
read.
looked at the original
Right.
one, because this is different than what the original one.
The regulations
And he said we didn't need half of
contain
what
the
they
different
said.
types of valves, but I think they want to know like the make and the model
Right.
and.
Right.
So they need specifications
Correct.
before they can approve
So we may
it.
have to have Pete Sotero take a look at this and make some recommendations as to where we are with this thing.
Do we really need an engineer? Seems like,
Well,
I mean, that's
I don't
a
think you can
cost to the
cut-
town.
I would think so.
yeah, I would
Because
think so.
when you're writing specs, you're submitting those specs for someone to install them. So you want to make sure it's an independent assessment of the unit.
Correct.
So-
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I can present this to Ronald Miller with Dutchess County and see if it's.
Did you want to
stuff that he-
I'd like to read it first, because as I
Okay.
say, my concern is that we obligate everybody in the water district to have this.
Right.
And
Well, my understanding is not
if it-
everybody is required to have it. There's certain
But it
users
doesn't
that.
say that in there. I haven't read it to know.
Okay, right.
If that's what it says.
Well, everybody could, can read it and see, but I just want to make sure we're moving ahead
We
and
have
getting this in place.
Yeah.
There's no question, in speaking to Ronald Miller, you've got to do something, and you should do something quickly.
Right.
That you're
I
in
think-
violation of the regulations. You have not been violated. He has not issued a
No
violation
citation.
notice. No.
Yeah.
You want a
But-
copy of this thing? Or I'll just have him.
He just got-
Oh, you
I
got
just-
I gave them
Yeah.
mine.
Right.
So I think if we read it and, discuss any concerns we have before you pursue it with
Yeah.
Ronald Miller, I think that's,
Yeah, the
because
last,
something could be changed before. it
yeah,
can
it's
go there.
something they've noted to us that it was required, the last sanitary survey they did with the water. So, I mean, they've got it on their agenda that, we don't have it and that we need to put it in place.
They said Ronald Miller said that a letter was sent in November of 2011. So,
So it sounds like we've got to start, and we just
Correct.
need to get it in place. Okay.
I'll send this to Pete Sotero tomorrow.
Yeah, let's keep on top of it.
Yep.
No, it needs to be done, but in the right way.
And how are we progressing with getting the water billing out the door?
They installed a new system today, so we're up to speed.
What
Karen
system?
starts training, does a training on Tuesday, I think.
What system do they install?
The new, they upgraded the,
The windows?
yep, hold on.
Okay.
And then we put it upstairs, that was done today. Karen comes in, I think Tuesday for her training,
Who's training her?
BAS,
Okay.
done.
And we had talked about the condition of the boilers. I wondered what we were doing with that.
I've had Kirchhoff Energy here. We sent them the
I
plans of
sent
the
them a
building.
whole
all
set of
packet.
plans for the building.
And that's where we're at.
And that's
We're still
what
waiting
they're
for
looking at.
Jonathan Harkins to give us a quote.
Who?
Jonathan?
Did
I
you
have not
ever
heard
get
back.
his report?
No, I haven't heard back from
You
him.
haven't heard back?
He's
I
been doing a
emailed him.
report for months. I don't think we got it yet, did we?
No.
Now, is the boilers, have we decided that that's the way we want to go? Because I came across the CT Mail were consultants and looked at the facility upgrade, and one of the things they talked about us doing were heat pumps and putting in an air conditioning system.
Well, that's
Model PDAC, PD, whatever they applied package terminal air conditioners and heat pumps. When they looked at everything we had here. So is
Yeah,
this something we could do in lieu of the boilers and have them as a
Well,
backup?
the heat pumps, yes, but the PTAC
Yeah.
units are like the Mitsubishi units, like in Bill's office
Right.
and Sherry's office.
Mhm.
That's not necessarily the way we want to go. It's immediate, so I think we need a full report. I mean, we want to have everything integrated.
But
At the end of the
we
day.
can still look at this as an option now.
But those you have to build, those you put in from the outside, like an air conditioner.
Right, it has a compressor.
Correct.
Yeah, well, what are
Whereas
the,
the heat pump is different. It's, where Jonathan was talking about relating it to the geothermal, where you're capturing the coolness from the ground and getting the heat out of the building. So this is in addition to something like that, and you'd want to have one or the other. This is the least expensive.
right.
And it's fast, but they age, it's not, it doesn't have the duration factor that a
'Cause
geothermal
it
system.
was, but geothermal, I mean, what are we talking about as far as timeline, as far as getting them in? I mean, we're coming up on another summer now, which
Well,
means air conditioners in the window again.
Kirchhoff is submitting a proposal. It's an estimate of like 14 wells that would have to be drilled, but it would be quick to do, and, drilling wells on the property.
But we would need more than one bid. Something
Oh, yeah.
like that would have to go out for public bid.
It all does.
Yeah.
But I think they're
half of
starting somewhere by
Right.
They're
creating
starting
specs.
somewhere
Right, so we
because
have something
we
to
need-
springboard off of, because we don't have any
So they're looking
specs.
at it, to give us a proposal. And,
I've had
For
Troy,
actually doing it, or
No.
he's just gonna tell
Yeah.
us what we would
What
need
he
if
recommends.
we're gonna put it in? Okay.
A
we've had three.
recommendation.
Troy Boiler's been here, looked at the original boilers. That's $500,000 to fix the boilers, to replace those boilers. We've had, Jonathan Harkness has had his company through this building. And then,
Yeah.
Kirchhoff was here 4 weeks ago.
And there was another person,
Right, there was 4.
yeah, I've forgotten his
I
name.
forgot the other one. There was another one that was, the guy from, I think Orange County, he was here. right? We met with
Okay,
him and his assistant, remember, we met the two of them? But he never came back. We never heard a word from him.
Well, one meeting I didn't make, I wasn't available, so.
So there are,
So we're
haven't,
waiting to hear from 3 people with,
Oh, yeah, this
Sure.
is, this is, not
It's a big
something
project.
that gets done overnight. But when it gets awarded, you know, it would move quickly.
well, I'm just saying that everybody on the board should be getting emails and information about this as you're going along.
Yep,
It will.
it will happen once we get the
Once
proposals.
you get the estimates, you'll forward it on and say,
Right.
here's the
We haven't gotten
recommendation
them.
from this company, here's the recommend. Yeah, I think they're still
Sure.
gathering the information at this
We
point,
are.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hope that we limp through to summer.
we did have problems with we only have one boiler that works. We did have problems a few weeks ago where it died, and then, well, I shouldn't say died, they shut down. They got it going again, we got some parts, so they've got it jerry-rigged to do, but now these things, you can't get parts for some of this stuff, so they've
Right.
jerry-rigged all these parts and pieces and from,
The heaters in the
right,
corners?
some of the from the heaters upstairs, they're taking parts to put them elsewhere, like the courtroom didn't work, all that stuff, so he's stolen parts from this one and that one to get this thing up and running. So it's all band-aided and jerry-rigged to work, and we're on a day-to-day basis. That's the way it works. That's the way it is.
Get there.
We'll get there.
Where are we with Peter Cascone and his
We're gonna do it right.
lease?
We're gonna do it
We're
tonight.
gonna do it?
We
Okay.
have it right here. He had the lease, well, let's go.
Sorry.
Anybody else, got anything else? I can go through some stuff here for you. Other matters.
Well, there is this waiver of state aid eligibility for the town of Amenia for recreation funds from the Dutchess County Division of Youth Services. Can I make a motion that we authorize the waiver of these funds because we have not applied for them and don't intend? What we get from the Division of Youth Services is a different pot of money. And that looks like it's going to pass, or did pass in the budget, so we'll get $450. This is a different set of money that we waive every year. So I'll make a motion that we authorize Bill to sign as the supervisor for this waiver, which needs to go in to the county.
Second.
So you just sign down there.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Prody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes. I just have some things that, I'll bring up under this one. We've had some people look at the ball fields, and it's come to the our attention that some of the panels for the lights on the poles have to be replaced and repaired. There's bare wires. Some of the conduit is broken on 2 or 3 poles. The wires are hanging out. So I had Lacurdo go there yesterday and take a look at them. I walked around with them yesterday. So I would assume it's an emergency repair that we have to get this stuff done. Some of the electrical boxes are actually falling off on some of the lights, so we need to get that fixed as soon as possible. So I'd like to have permission from the board to have them fix them.
These are lights at the ball field?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of the panels are unlocked. So I was there today with
That's not good.
Christine and Sean Howard. We walked around and there's some issues we have to deal with.
And
get it
baseball's starting soon.
done. Right, so we need to get it done before we get the kids in there. They're in there
Yeah.
playing today, as a matter of fact, so we need to get it done.
I'll
They can
make
do
a
it next week.
motion that we authorize emergency repairs to the lighting problems at Ballfield, at the
Beekman Park?
Beekman Park.
Beekman Park.
Ballfield.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You want to do your thing? Go ahead.
Yes, I do. Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Prody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle? And
Yes.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes. We have a request from, what's the restaurant? Is it only up on the street, up on the hill? Who's the guy that owns that? I can't remember his name.
Request from where? I'm sorry.
The restaurant up on 44, to put another street light up on by his driveway, around that curve.
Oh, by the junction of
Sarabon.
Oh.
Which I spoke to NICEC, and we just need to send a letter on town letterhead, and they'll go ahead and add the light. And I've also spoken to them about the not Beekman Park, the park in Wasaik. We've done this, we've talked about this before. There's the electric lines that go, the poles that go to the bridge come out of the town garage. So we're paying the electric for those lights, the street lights that are there. So what I wanted to do and asked them to do, if they would put a pole across the stream and maybe another pole or two down to the ballpark, so we get some lights in that little park that we have there, and there's a little basketball thing and so on and so forth. So they said they've actually come out and
Who's this, NICEC?
NICEC took a look at it before. So
At their cost, they will extend the,
well, it goes to the lighting district.
Goes to the lighting district.
Goes to the
Our
lighting.
cost.
how much does it cost to add a pole?
I'll ask for the pole. I don't know what the pole is. Well, we did it to Beekman Park. We added the 2 lights in the parking
Yes.
lot. So
It looks good. I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise people hang out
Right.
right there.
and that way the people could use it at night a little bit, and they shut them off at a certain time or
Yeah.
whatever they go off.
Mhm.
So I think it's something we should take a look at. Okay, that's all I've got.
So if we meet for looking at places to make improvements to the street, we'll need to advertise that if the 3 of us meet. So on the Saturday, the 6th. So as soon as you know when you can meet,
Mhm.
we'll get that information to you?
Sure.
Okay. And she can get it out, published right away.
Okay.
You just meet starting at Four Brothers? But they're not gonna come here.
Meet at Fountain Square
Meet at Fountain
usually, and then we walk from there.
Also, there was a request by Stanley to add 2 lines to the budget, which we did, but then he spoke to the CPA, so did Sherry. There'll be another resolution at the next meeting. There has to be a resolution to add those. We need to have the exact
We need to put
amounts.
the funds in there.
Right,
for
they're
the
there, the
grants.
funds are there.
They're not in the right lines. Not yet.
Well,
Yeah, makes sense to do
It's
it.
money in and money out, so
Yeah.
it is what it is. But they're working on it to get that done. So it's not a big deal. That's a transfer of funds. Resolution number 11 of 2013, whereas the town board has authority to transfer funds when necessary and unanticipated to amend the budget, whereas the town budget line 81604.1.00 refuge garbage requires an increase in the amount of $472 for the purpose of refunding Royal Karting for 118 tickets at $4 a ticket. And whereas the town budget line 19004.1.49 requires a decrease in the amount of $472. And whereas the town budget line 51101.6.00 general repairs requires an increase in the amount of $1,311.05 for the purpose of personal services repair water leak, district leak on March 6, 2013 and March 9, 2013. And whereas the town budget line 90308.6.00 Social Security town share requires an increase in the amount of $100.29 for the purpose of Social Security and Medicare taxes applied to the personal services for March 6, 2013 and March 9, 2013. And whereas the town budget line 83404.6.00 transmission distribution requires a decrease in the amount of 1411.34. And now therefore be resolved that the town board authorizes the transfer of necessary budget lines to process the transaction. Someone want to make that motion?
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Prody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes. Resolution number 12. Do you want to read this one?
Sure. That's authorizing disposal one?
No,
Or the
this
other
is
one's the
the
Easter egg.
constables
Constables for the Easter egg.
and floods auction. Yeah, but you know what, I have a question. We're not paying for floods auction, right?
No.
They
Okay.
pay it,
They
yeah.
pay it.
He pays for the one, and then Brett just to be here for the couple hours until the Easter Bunny is over. And then they open up the parking lot. That's what they did last year.
I have two that are Amenia Music Hall renovation for the concert.
I have this one, though.
They're both identical with the exception of the activity.
Where resolution number 12, 2013, whereas the town of Amenia has adopted local law number 3 of 2007, establishing the powers and duties of town constables. And whereas section 10-7 of that law authorizes the town board to adopt a resolution granting special duties to the town constables upon a determination and assignment of those special duties is appropriate and is consistent with the scope of town constable powers and the duties as peace officers. And whereas the annual farmers machinery auction, commonly known as Floods Auction, and the annual Easter egg hunt is scheduled to be conducted on May 30th, 2013 in the vicinity of in section Route 22, 44, and 343. And whereas the town board concludes that it would be in the best interest of the town of Amenia, the public health and welfare of the town council to assist in parking and traffic control for this event, and to generally patrol the auction grounds and surrounding area during the auction event. And now therefore be resolved that the town board hereby grants the town constables special duties enumerated in sections 10-7 C, D, E, F, and G of the Amenia Town Code during the events on March 30th, 2013, including the period of time prior to and after the actual auction event necessary to patrol the area for safety and to assist in controlling and directing the parking and traffic generated by this event. And it is further resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the town constable to carry a firearm as authorized by section 10-6 of the town of Amenia Town Code while performing special duties identified in this resolution. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Flood?
I'm going to abstain.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Prody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Resolution number 14?
13.
2013, whereas the town of Amenia has adopted local law number 3 of 2007, establishes the powers and duties of the town councils, and whereas section 10-7 of that law authorizes the town board to adopt a resolution granting special duties to the town councils upon a determination that assignment of those special duties is appropriate and is consistent with the scope of the town council's powers and duties as peace officers. And whereas there will be a music concert at the Amenia Town Hall, 4988 Route 22, scheduled to be conducted on March 30th, 2013, from 7 p.m. until midnight. And whereas the town board concludes that it would be the best interest of the town of Amenia and of the public health and welfare of the town constables to assist in parking and traffic control for the event and to generally patrol the town hall grounds and surrounding area during the musical event. And now therefore be resolved that the Amenia Town Board hereby grants the town constables and special duties enumerated in sections 10-7 C, D, E, F, and G of the Town of Amenia Town Code during the event known as opening concert benefit for the Amenia Music Hall renovation fund on March 30th, 2013, including a period time prior to and after the actual musical event, necessary to patrol the area for safety and to assist in controlling and directing the parking and traffic generated by this event, and therefore, it is further resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the town constables to carry a firearm as authorized by Section 10.6 of the Amenia Town of Amenia Code while performing the special duties identified in this resolution.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes.
Councilman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brody?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Lease agreement.
Who did the motion and second that?
I'll second that.
Because I don't think
I'll do
anybody
a
did.
motion. Resolution number 14, authorizing lease agreement with Peter Cascone Productions, Inc. at the Amenia meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Amenia held at the Amenia Town Hall on the 28th day of March 2013, 7 p.m. Town Supervisor William Flood called the meeting to order and seconded by,
I'll second it.
introduced the following resolution to wit, whereas the Town of Amenia Town Board has determined that it's in the best interest of the town to allow the use of the auditorium, gym, and kitchen located in the Town Hall for the presentation of concerts, plays, shows, and movies and similar events to the public, and for the service of food and beverages during such events. And whereas Peter Cascone Productions, Inc. has offered to provide such concerts, plays, and shows, and movies and similar events to the public and has requested the use of the auditorium, gym, and kitchen for that purpose. And whereas the use of the auditorium, gym, and kitchen by Peter Cascone Productions, Inc. will not interfere with town businesses, and whereas the Town of Amenia now wishes to provide Peter Cascone Productions, Inc. with a license to use the auditorium, gym, and kitchen in the Town of Amenia Town Hall building for the purpose of playing concerts, plays, shows, movies, and similar events to the members of the public and to the service of food and beverages during such events, and whereas the Town Board wishes to authorize the Town Supervisor enter into a license agreement in the form attached hereto with Peter Cascone Productions, Inc. And whereas Peter Cascone Productions, Inc. has requested the use of the town auditorium, gym, and kitchen as on March 30th, 2013, between the hours of 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. for the purpose of presenting a concert to the public and serving food and beverages during the concert. And whereas the authorization to enter into a license agreement for the use of the auditorium, gym, and kitchen in the immediate town hall is a type 2 action that is exempt from seeker, and now therefore be resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the issuance of a license to Peter Cascone Productions to allow Peter Cascone Productions, Inc. to use the auditorium, gym, and kitchen in the immediate town hall for the purpose of providing concerts, plays, shows, and similar events to the members of the public, and for providing food and beverages during such events. And be further resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor of the town to enter into and execute any document necessary for incidental to effectuate the license of Peter Cascone Productions, including but not limited to signing of a license agreement in the form attached hereto. And be it further resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the use of the auditorium and kitchen in the town hall by Peter Cascone Productions, Inc. on March 30th, 2013, between the hours of 5 and 11 p.m. for the purpose of providing a concert to members of the public and providing food and beverages, including wine and beer, but no other alcoholic beverages during such event, and the town hereby waives the 60-day notice requirement contained in the license agreement for this one particular agreement.
I make that motion?
I'll second it.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes.
Councilman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Brody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes. Just as a technical note, it was already motioned and seconded at the beginning.
Right.
And
Wasn't it?
Supervisor Flood and Councilwoman
Okay.
Doyle?
Right.
Yeah, so we
All
didn't
right,
need the
so you
second one.
didn't need
Yeah.
the second one?
Just,
Do we have to read this license agreement, or?
No.
No.
So what do we have to
You
sign
want to just
one?
sign it
Yeah,
tonight?
well, once
When
Ian,
you sign everything and then I'll notarize
Yeah.
it?
Are we providing extra bathroom?
Yep.
Okay.
Done.
All that.
all the
Okay.
car, whatever was requested, we've done.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Resolution number
15 now.
authorizing disposal of obsolete equipment with no market value at the meeting of the town board of the Town of Amenia held at the Amenia Town Hall on the 28th day of March 2013 at 7 p.m. Town Supervisor William Flood called the meeting to order and seconded by, whereas the town of Amenia obtained certain equipment, including a keyboard, monitor, laptop, and computers in previous years. A complete list of the equipment is attached here too, which equipment was used by the town for all town offices. And whereas the town of Amenia Town Board has determined that such equipment is no longer useful for or necessary for the town purposes, and whereas the town board has further determined that due to the age of the equipment and its extremely poor condition, such equipment has no appreciable value, and there is no individual business or other municipality that would be able to put such equipment to a useful purpose. And whereas the town board has determined that it would be the best interest of the town for such equipment to be disposed of in the following manner: the hard drives or the computers will be removed and destroyed, and the equipment will be disposed of by Business Automation Services, and that whereas the disposal of obsolete equipment is a Type 2 action and that is exempt from seeker, and now therefore be resolved that the town board hereby determines that the equipment consisting of the attached list is obsolete and can serve no useful purpose to the town, and be it further resolved that the town board hereby determines that the attached list of the equipment has no appreciable market value and could not serve as useful purpose to any other individual purpose or municipality, and be it further resolved that the town board hereby approves and authorizes the disposal of attached listed equipment in the following manner, and hard drives of the computers will be removed and destroyed, and the equipment will be disposed of by Business Automation Services.
I'll second it.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes.
Councilman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes, was this number 14, just as a technical?
No, this is going to be...
15, okay, I have the wrong number. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Supervisor report, I've covered my stuff, the town board comments.
Actually, don't forget the Easter egg hunt, March 30th from 10 to 12. The Easter Bunny will be here. And there'll be arts and crafts, and besides all the eggs that all the little children will be after. Also is the first ever Amenia Music Hall concert on March 30th from 7 to 9. It's to benefit the repairs that are needed in the auditorium, and we hope everyone will come out and enjoy this wonderful concert that the town hall will be offering.
There are posters up everywhere to announce this, and it's been advertised in the paper. I heard it on the radio this morning, so we're expecting a big turnout, and this is the premier event here, so it should be exciting. We're ready for it. I'll be there.
Bill and I attended a lunch conversation about conservation easements and conservation easements in Dutchess County at the Dutchess Land Conservancy on, what was that, Wednesday?
Yeah,
It's been flying by. But anyway, we learned about their willingness to aid municipalities in the identification of open space opportunities, and if we are so interested, it seemed to me that if we wanted to follow up on the end of our master plan process, we understood that we did not get to an open space protection plan, farmland protection plan in Amenia. And there's money available, and they have the technical expertise to help us with that, to guide us to the right places. If anybody in the community wants to take on that project, I would welcome them to come forward. We were just so exhausted at the end of the master plan that we didn't get further than that. There is a workshop that they promoted at that meeting. It's called Conservation Easements and Subdivisions, What Works and What Doesn't. A primer for town planning and zoning board members. It has a 2-hour credit course for those who need those credits. And it's Monday, April 29th, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the DLC office. It's on Route 44, at Route 82 in Millbrook. Now it's called 82. So that would be good. I also went to a pruning workshop with Kevin Cassone at the Newburgh Free Library last Saturday and learned a little bit about pruning street trees in particular, and then we went out and pruned street trees. And the interesting thing, it was interesting, we learned all about the ABCs, and next year I promoted heavily that they would come here and give their pruning workshop here, and we'd walk out and work on the lollipop trees in the front.
Good thinking.
You know, there's a lot that citizens could do to help with the street trees and the maintenance. But they did suggest that by the end of March is really the end time for doing that work. So if we're soliciting bids, it would really be
Bids are out,
for
right?
the.
Yeah.
Okay, so it needs to be done ASAP or late fall through the winter. The latest you can do it is March, end of March, theoretically. That's from a forester, a master gardener, forester. I think that's all I have.
I signed up for that seminar on the 29th already.
Oh, great, for the easements.
Yes.
Okay, good. I don't think there's any cost or any requirement that you be a primer for town planning and zoning board members, but I don't see why members of the public couldn't come.
It's nice to know what to expect coming before us sometimes. So.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind too that Ridgecrest Farm, you've got
Has
the
an easement.
opportunity to require them to provide a conservation easement.
Right, and that's one of the issues we have to work on.
Yeah, something to discuss.
Certainly is something that we'll need some technical help
Correct.
from DLC.
Okay, we're gonna go to executive session, correct? That's what we wanna do?
I would like to go to executive session to discuss personnel issues.
Okay.